What's up, weather enthusiasts? I'm your host, Pat's Path Predictor. Let's get right into the weather. Tonight is going to be a very big stream for a plethora of reasons because we have a very big outbreak that is going to be happening in the next 2 days. We have a lot to talk to you guys about tonight, but before we do, we're going to introduce you guys to some of the people that are going to be on here tonight, and we're going to also have some more on as well. We're going to go ahead and start with our head admin, John. John, say hello to the stream.
What's up, everybody?
Hey, yeah, you've been coming in clutch with those storm codes. We really appreciate that, by the way.
Yeah, no problem. I'm gonna try and work on another update here, probably in like an hour, I would say.
All right, thank you. Next, we have Tony.
hmm
Tony, say hello to the stream.
Hello, everyone. What's going on?
Yeah, we also have Yoshi on the air. Yoshi, say hi.
Hello.
Yeah, we also have Ian in the stream. Ian.
What's good, y'all? I've been watching this all day very closely.
We all have.
This is just scaring me. This whole event, I'm literally just freaked out by this. And I don't usually say that very often about like severe weather events like this. Usually I get pumped up, but
Sure.
just because I love tracking these things. But this is actually scaring me. Like, I'm very worried about Mississippi and Alabama. And if you are in Mississippi and Alabama, please make sure to watch this carefully.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure, and we appreciate that. Thank you very much, co-hosts, for introducing yourselves. Let's go ahead and dive right into this, and we're going to go ahead and start talking about some of the severe weather threats. Let's go ahead and start with tomorrow's threats because that's the most pressing, and I would say, in my opinion, the most unexpected because we have a moderate risk on day 2. We were not expecting this at all when we were streaming last night. And everyone here can attest to that. We were saying, oh, it's going to stay enhanced. Oh, it's going to stay enhanced. They slapped a moderate right in the epicenter, and it's going to be pretty interesting. The reason they slapped this moderate, they went 45% hatch for wind, 10 hatch for tornadoes, 30 hatch for hail. Let's go ahead and pivot over to you guys. I want your guys' takes on what we're seeing for tomorrow and kind of the overall general consensus as to what you think may be the biggest risk and all that stuff. And whoever wants to start can go ahead.
I will say I kind of had a feeling they might have done a moderate risk. I just had a feeling they were probably going to do a moderate risk. I wasn't expecting it to be a day 2 moderate risk, though.
Yeah, no one here was. That's for sure. Anyone else?
I was very shocked to see a moderate this morning. Just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
HRRR0Z is coming out in an hour.
Yeah.
Probably right now.
Especially when Pat and I are right in the middle of it.
Yes. We are watching this very carefully.
Yeah. I would also like to mention, again, I mentioned this on the stream on Tuesday, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you're not in the gray, and goes across to everyone in the in the severe risk area. I'm actually going to pull it up.
Yeah.
Let me just give me a second. I'm just going to pull
for
up.
For sure.
Like, do you mind pulling it up too so I can mention?
I have it on. I can. I'll go ahead and share my screen on Discord for you guys. It'll make it easier.
I have it up here. I have it up here.
Okay.
So just because you're not in an enhanced or moderate risk does not mean you won't get significant severe weather. As I mentioned before, and I will continue mentioning this because I want to get the wording out.
Sure.
Remember March 14th, 2024.
This is happening on the 1-year anniversary of this. This moderate risk
which is ironic too.
Yeah.
But so Ohio was in a slight risk. They had a tornado threat, but it wasn't as high as like Oklahoma. I believe is Oklahoma, Arkansas, Kansas, I believe, as well. Not Kansas. What's wrong with me? Texas, I mean.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a 10 sig tor risk. And Ohio was like in a 5% risk and even 2%. Yeah. And we saw multiple tornadoes. This was also in Indiana as well. Indiana, Ohio saw multiple tornadoes, 2 EF3s, one that hit Indian Lake, Ohio, which 3 people died, and it also destroyed a a trailer park.
Yeah.
And so And I'm seeing like you could see like very far south Mississippi into like Indiana and into Minnesota. This is a slight risk, and Iowa has like that 5% in tour threat too.
Yeah, they're in a 5%.
So at least most of them. So I would take this with a grain of salt. Again, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but just be prepared for significant tornadoes potentially. I'm not saying like they're going to happen. I'm just saying that's a potential, and I would like to say this for Saturday as well. Be prepared even if you're in a slight risk. I know that northern or eastern
Yeah, a lot of
Ohio
Ohio is under that slight risk.
under that slight risk, and even I'm in northwestern Ohio, and it's under a marginal risk just south of Toledo. And again, I'll mention that I've said it before, and I'm going to continue to say it throughout this event. Do not underestimate like a slight risk or something like that. Like again, as I mentioned, March 14th, 2024. Remember this. Significant tornadoes happened outside of that really enhanced risk. In fact, not much really happened in that enhanced risk, maybe a couple of tornadoes. So these things can overperform on the northern side or the farther side of it.
Yeah.
So I wanted, again, I'm going into detail because I want to bring it up. This can happen. This has happened before, and it can be unexpected. So what I'm saying is, don't let your guard down.
Yes.
Be rather aware. Don't let your guard down.
Yeah, do not let your guard down. Anyway, we have Daniel joining in the stream right now. Daniel, what's good?
Hi. No goofy stuff today, please.
Okay. Yeah,
for my sanity.
This is a very serious situation that we're dealing with.
Very serious.
Yeah. Yeah,
all
I
right.
know.
Yeah, all right. I'll go ahead and turn over to Yoshi now. Yoshi, what would you like to add to this based on your analysis?
Something I want to cover. It's not about the severe weather, but I think it is just as important. Pat, can you go to fire risk day 2?
Yeah,
please?
We were talking about that on stream last night with David. Yep.
Yeah,
Got it.
and I don't, and the 2 severe days, they're big, they're really big, but I don't think this is going to be talked enough because the others are so big.
Sure.
We have a very large, extreme forecast for wildfire activity near the Texas Panhandle, in actually a lot of rural Oklahoma and parts of Kansas, and severe west Missouri. And one AFD is reportedly saying wildfire outbreak possible across parts of the southern plains. If we go to the models, we will see that there is a ton of dryness in there. Let me get it.
Which run would you like? And
HRRR, if possible, anywhere in day 2. I think afternoon day 2 would be great, around 30 hours.
30 hours.
Ooh.
Yeah. Well, 30 hours. That's 7 p.m. on tomorrow.
Yeah, but that is very. So you see the brown and even the blue there. That is really, really, really dry air. Now, if we on the same hour, if we can pull up winds, I believe those are affecting it too. I'm going to read out the.
Here's your wind gusts at the surface. Not fantastic. We're looking at potentially to 40 miles per hour, 40 knots a gust.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Yeah,
that's really bad actually. It is said. Yeah, no, it's not in an AFD. Sorry, it is in the Outlook. It is in the Outlook text. And it is saying, and I want everyone here in the stream, in the VC, and anyone watching to hear this really, really closely. The National Weather Service and Storm Prediction Center never, and I mean never, uses this language lightly. Near historic fire weather conditions remain likely across portions of the southern plains on Friday. A broad area of sustained winds of 35 to 45 mile an hour and wind gusts up to 70 miles an hour and likely. 70 miles an hour plus. That is almost hurricane to hurricane force winds.
And
some areas may see wind gusts in excess of 80 miles an hour and extremely strong wind, mid-level jet stream.
Yep, that's beneath the jet.
Hey, Pat, we may have to go code red for that.
Yeah, I'm thinking. I'm thinking too.
I agree.
So we may have 3 areas of code red.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. We'll have to see how this pans out. This is pretty bad. Yoshi, I want to point out something to you as well, and I think this would be potentially relevant to at least more of the severe weather. There's an isolated dry thunderstorm area issued for parts of Kansas and Missouri. Would you like to touch more on that, or yeah?
Yeah, I think HRRR has a lightning count, doesn't it? Does it? I want to see real
Let me
quick
take a quick
if they
look
do.
at it. I know
If
Tristan
not,
wants to
I
come.
know at least
Yeah.
one model has lightning count.
Yeah, I know Tristan wants to come. Yeah.
I also just want to say,
Sure.
with the winds blowing at that amount in areas, these
lightning does.
current prescribed burns could also be ignition sources if the
If not
embers
handled
of these
properly.
fires. I mean, there's already dozens of fires in Oklahoma, little small fires. And Oklahoma is in where these fires is in part of the extreme and critical area. But most of them are in the extreme. And most of them are also in that dry thunderstorm area. So Oklahoma might look a little more smoky in a day or two.
Let's pray that does not happen.
It already looks very smoky on satellite just with the prescribed burns going.
Mm-hmm.
They're very intense, actually.
That's pretty concerning. Actually, let me take a quick look at this. Let me take a look
at visible.
Yeah, for this. I mean, it's a little hard to tell, but yeah, I know.
I could if you stop screen sharing for a second. I have
I'll let you go. Sure, Daniel. While you're doing that, Tristan's just joined. He's deafened right now, so give him a second. But yeah,
all
right, there you go. I'll go ahead and take care of this, and I'll go ahead and show your screen, Daniel.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, it's very interesting that there's fire weather a lot in Oklahoma. Like, Oklahoma just has it all. They have fires, and then they also have tornadoes.
Yep.
There's one. You see the smaller ones, and then you have all these little ones. That's the Bear Fire is probably the biggest, one of the biggest.
Yeah.
There's a few clusters. There's also one up here that's like almost 40,000 acres. In South Dakota.
Too.
65% contained, but still.
That's pretty bad.
You still have ones in Texas, and just all these little things. If a wind starts picking it up, these prescribed burns can turn into out of control fires. Very quickly.
Absolutely.
I know this is kind of off topic, but I'm going to Florida in a couple weeks. I'm curious about if there's any wildfires there.
There's very small, but a lot of prescribed burns. And that's
Florida.
normal for
Yeah.
Relatively normal.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know. I've known Florida has had wildfires before. A couple years back, they had some pretty big ones.
Yeah. That's going to be pretty interesting how this pans out. I'm pretty worried.
Wow, that's a lot of smoke.
Yeah,
that's a lot of smoke in Florida.
Yeah, that's very worrisome with what's going on in the Midwest with all those wildfires with the jet.
Yeah, for example, like here's from yesterday of seeing all the smoke down south.
Yeah. All right.
And then the severe weather is going to come in and just hopefully contain some of it.
I doubt it.
No, it's going to be too far to the east. I at least in terms of the extreme risk.
I was talking about Alabama and like that. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, they're.
Well,
it's also another dust storm happening right now.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. But anyway, yeah. Reason we're talking about fire weather is because the same jet that's going to be whipping and bringing all the severe weather to much of the Midwest and the Deep South is what's bringing this fire weather, and that's also a pretty big hazard. David was talking about it last night on our stream. David Schlotthauer was. These guys were talking about it quite a bit, so I wanted to bring this up once again, so that way we could go over this, look at some of the new parameters, and then we can dive right into the severe weather. So that's why we're looking at fires, because this is a particularly big problem. And like John said, we're going to probably issue a code red for fire weather on this. So that's why we're talking about it.
And also the big issue is, I mean, like, we had the Los Angeles fires break out, but in comparison to Los Angeles, these fires are actually around the same distance to what LA was experiencing with fires. But the second that these start kicking up, there's also a lot more greenery and a lot more flat land, which it will just allow this to spread a lot quicker. And also pocket in different areas. I mean, not like the LA fires did the exact same thing, but also the LA fires had to go down and up hillsides, and that varies the speed of the intensity of the fire spread. This will be a relatively constant speed. But
we'll have to see what happens. Yeah, that's very concerning.
70 to 80 miles per hour. Depending where it blows, that could be going right into the heart of Tulsa.
Let's hope that doesn't happen. Okay. Is there anything else we want to cover with the fire weather before we pivot to severe weather again?
Not for now. We will have to focus on it again once H000Z does come out.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll take a look at that. Hey, Sonny, welcome to the stream.
What up, everybody?
Yeah. As you can tell, we are very busy tonight.
Yeah, I know.
So
I've been on X.
Yeah. All right. So I'll go ahead and pivot over to the day one risk once again. Now that we've also touched on the fire risk. What are your guys' thoughts on the risk for tomorrow in general? I know I kind of covered it a little bit. John, I'm not sure if you spoke on this too much. If you want to go ahead, but Daniel, since you're a newcomer, what do you want? What's your thoughts on it?
I mean, if John wants to go first, I don't mind.
Yeah, I just know he's muted, so yeah.
But the I will say, so I was looking at it when it first dropped. Yeah, I actually went through the whole discussion and all that.
Yeah.
So more wind dominant, but there's still a tour. Now, a large 10 sig of a tour, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if it performs more closer to in isolated areas as a 15 sig.
Yeah, we've been talking about that.
But where that area of a 15 sig seems to be uncertain right now. So when later outlooks of day one, as they shift it, if there is a 15 sig, they will probably place it if necessary. But the wind threat is one of the highest I've seen for a while. 45?
It's 45 hatched.
Yeah, 45 sig. That's it's pretty bad. But also the hail is also a 36. So it's a hail and wind event primarily with few to several tornadoes possible.
Yeah. Especially the semi-discrete stuff, yes.
Yes, and I just want to quickly, while we're on it, transition to day 3.
Okay.
If you don't mind.
We can go ahead and talk about that. We can go ahead and talk about that since that's going to be a very big problem.
I was just gonna say it because I was having thoughts and just to myself like, okay, for the probability is a 45 sig on severe probability. Okay,
Yeah.
Now, most of it is looking like a wind event. Now, the true question is, will we have, and we're probably going to see 70, 80 isolated amounts, 90 plus in the line.
What do you
now, winds.
Oh, okay.
Possible 90. It's not out of the question. Depends how strong the line is after technically day 2.
Yeah.
Is
this referring to the morning convection or the stuff that's going to be firing off in the afternoon?
I mean, it's just referring to the whole event as a whole.
I just want
because the event is likely going to be wind dominant.
You think it's going to be wind dominant in the south?
Well, with day 3 at least, yes.
Okay.
Based off wording, I've not seen really. I mean, yes, there's isolated tour possibility, but it's sounding more of a wind. I mean,
okay.
Lines will. I will probably transition to lines, but there's probably a possibility of some. It depends how the setup goes.
For sure. Yeah.
It's still, I find it 48 hours out is a. I won't even know until it's like 12 hours before what the setup will be. Because weather's so hard to predict nowadays.
Yeah.
But it's probably gonna be as similar to a.
Daniel, you there? Okay, you cut out for a sec.
Oh, it might be more wind.
Okay. All right. Tony, welcome back. First of all, I know you had to take care of some stuff. What are your thoughts on tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Yes. Well, not
look at models.
Well, tomorrow, yeah, for sure. And then we can move into day 3 as we continue to get more into it. Daniel was kind of talking about both days, in general. So, what's your thoughts on it?
So tomorrow, I am looking at a moderate for the Illinois, Arkansas, Missouri area.
Yes.
This line is going to be an arcing line.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
If this makes sense to you.
Yep. Yeah, it's going to be arcing, bowing out.
Yeah.
With a few discrete supercells with it.
Mm-hmm.
I think the tornado parameter is, this is my personal opinion, I think it's a little too high out of 10 sig.
Okay.
I think they should have left it at a 10 regular.
Yeah.
The wind is going to be the primary event for this. And really big size hail. Have you all seen the uplift in the updrafts?
Yeah, we've seen the up. Let's go ahead and take a look at the
we're
updraft
talking
velocity.
really. We're really talking about like baseball size hail, if not bigger, maybe even football.
Well,
I
wouldn't say football sized hail, but
scary.
baseball sized hail definitely is not out of the question, especially in some of the more discrete cells. I would say
Yes, that updraft is just wow.
Yeah, I wanted to point this out because I think this is pretty interesting. We've noticed some more shifts with the line, with the more squally setup moving further and further to the north, and the more semi-discrete stuff is following with it. And I've noticed that it's putting more and more of St. Louis in the line of fire for semi-discrete stuff, which would ultimately really increase the risk of tornadoes and very large hail, but decrease the risk of the wind. What are your thoughts on these shifts, and do you think it could be possible where we could see maybe an uptick? Because we've been having some discussions that maybe we could see a 15% sig tour with this. Because I know you think the tornado threat's a little high right now, but I want your take on it.
If they go 15, they're, in my personal opinion, it's going to be stupid.
Okay,
I'm
why do you
sorry.
think so?
I do not believe you're going to have how can I say this for everybody to kind of understand it better?
Sure.
Um, the forcing that we're going to have in the South.
Okay. So you don't
You
think
see,
the forcing's there?
I believe it is there, but not for a 15 sig tour
Okay.
or even a 10 sig. I truly believe with the updrafts being the way they are, I really can't see it doing that. It's
Yeah. Okay.
I just don't see it. Now, if you were to say St. Louis, yeah, that's a tough one.
All right.
Like if you were to actually say, give me a city, and you said St. Louis,
It's just a general gist. I'm noticing it's the closest city we have, a location we have to where this semi-discrete stuff is pushing further and further to the north. So I just figured I'd point that out.
Oh, by the
can
way,
you look in?
sorry.
Can
Good
you look
evening,
in?
everybody.
No, Mike.
I
Oh yeah, I see it, Tony.
Tristan is
Yep.
unmuted.
Good evening, everybody. I do
Hey, Tristan.
apologize. I was on the phone.
Don't worry about it.
Um,
We're in the middle of talking about tomorrow's risk. Tony, if you want to continue, go ahead. Then we'll let Tristan speak since he just got here. So Tony,
As
please
you as
continue.
you can see, as you can see, this is a Boeing segment,
Yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if the people on the stream can see this, but as you can see, there's storms out in front of it.
Yeah, there's some
Discrete.
discrete stuff in front of it. Yes.
I don't think it's going to have the energy to produce a 15 sig tour
Okay.
because it's too close to the line.
All right.
And when you get that close to the line, as you know, Pat, you're going to have to deal with cold outflow boundaries.
Yep. That stabilizes things
I
in a
And I
mesoscale.
exactly, I don't
how that works.
think they're going to be able to form
All right. All right. Thank you
based on
for.
what I'm seeing.
All right. Thank you for that. Tristan, welcome. First of all, like I said, welcome to the stream. What are your thoughts on tomorrow?
First of all, I am going to say I disagree but agree
Okay.
with Fire Ant. Here's the reason why. I agree because the line may be moving too fast. And I do see a limited opportunity for sells.
Sure.
I disagree, however, because, and this is where we get a little finicky with the mesoscale.
Okay.
Even if a supercell just develops, if the atmosphere is explosive enough to make it develop quickly, my concern would be if the cell is able to angle with the QLCS, which we call constructive mergers. We saw this during April 27th, 2024 last year,
Okay.
when a QLCS and its supercells interacting with it.
Sure.
Mergers and the balance of the inflow and outflow can cause strong tornadoes in this environment. But I also agree with Fire Ant saying that it's not enough for a 15 sig, but you cannot discount an intense tornado because of those mergers.
Okay.
That would be the place if you're looking for EF2 plus, comma heads or mergers. I do agree it just takes 10 sig, but we got to be aware there's a chance that it could overperform a little bit in tornadoes due to the chance of mergers if semi-discrete form in front.
Okay. Thank you very much for that, Tristan. Tony, you just sent something into live no mic. That's the fire risk. We were actually talking about that while you were off the air. Yeah.
So
While you were off
this
the
is
air.
something. This
Mhm.
is something that is very rare. The fire risk.
All right.
You have a elevated fire risk and an extreme fire risk in Texas
Yeah.
in the morning time
Mm-hmm.
of this significant weather event. I don't believe that's ever happened before, Pat.
Oh, wow.
This is in the morning of the event tomorrow. for the
Yeah.
Midwest.
That is it. That has been something we've been watching very closely, because the same jet that's going to be giving a lot of severe weather to a lot of these areas is going to be whipping the winds in Texas and Oklahoma, and things could potentially get out of control from what Daniel was talking about previously.
Give me a second.
Which-
I am seeing if that's true. I'm looking for one analog that I look for with these setups. Give me a second. Go ahead, continue.
Go ahead, Tony.
So this is very unusual. I don't think any of us has ever seen this before, where you have an elevated fire risk on the day of a moderate.
I haven't. That's for sure.
And I can't recall any textbooks or any case study on this.
There
I
is
don't think it's ever happened.
there
Okay.
is one fire ant I'm looking at to see if that is true. There is one event. Give me a minute.
All right, take your time with
That
that.
sort of had this. So give me 1 second. I'm gonna look it up. Let's see if that is
All right, you
true.
take care of that. But in the meantime, though, that is a very it's always been pretty interesting. And fire weather isn't usually something that's really talked about in terms of severe weather, because everyone's so focused on the moderate risks that are going on, all the SIGTOR parameters, all the CAPE and all of that stuff, which by the way, Yoshi sent this in as well. The instability has continued to uptrend. I believe, yeah, this is the wrap he has sent us. Yoshi, now since you brought that up, what's your take on this increase in instability for tomorrow?
My intake, let me get it here since I was looking at other stuff. So you see it increasing, especially in places like Kentucky and Illinois.
Yes.
This is at 21. So what I think would happen with this is that, of course it's going to create more strong storms. I'm especially worried for Louisiana and Arkansas, though.
Yeah.
Mainly because they're getting most of that Gulf moisture, and Louisiana has a lot of Gulf moisture coming up into it. I think one of the main factors there was that it didn't have enough of this surface-based cape.
Yeah.
Now it's getting enough of this surface-based cape so it can use that moisture even more effectively. So even stronger storms, obviously, and I do think this is on day 2. And I do think that this enhanced and slight has a good possibility of creeping down into places like Baton Rouge and New Orleans and northern Louisiana, especially. I'm worried about them. Places like what is it? I forgot the city that was in northern Louisiana. I know there is a major
Shreveport.
Yeah, Shreveport. I was thinking of Shreveport.
Or Baton Rouge.
Baton Rouge is further south.
Shreveport, Baton Rouge, and New Orleans are the main 3 cities. I'm getting very worried off of this.
For day 2?
Yeah, day 2.
Okay. Just wanted to clarify. All right.
If we saw an uptrend on day 3 for New Orleans, then I would be extremely worried.
Yeah. I'll follow up with you in a second, but we have a $5 donation from Peter Moss. He came in clutch last night with $10 donated. Thank you for donating again. He asks a very big question: could Friday be less of a tornado threat but more of a derecho style damaging wind threat? Yeah.
I want to answer.
Tomorrow?
Yeah.
For day 3.
For tomorrow.
That's hard to answer.
I'd say yeah.
I would say that the reason why it may not become a derecho is only because there's certain criteria.
Yes.
400. It needs a path of 400 miles and the width of 60 miles. The width is fine. It's going to be more than 60 miles. The question will be, will it be able to get long enough to be able to be classified as a derecho?
Is it?
There's a good possibility, though, that it could if the dew points go up even somewhat. So I do think there is a chance of a derecho event. And I want to look at an analog here. This is the one analog I pulled up that kind of did this on a smaller scale. That was December 15th, 2021.
You've been talking a lot behind the scenes.
It did it on a smaller scale, and it was a derecho, by the way.
Sure.
But we can clearly see that this event is a larger version of December 15th in its own right, with the extreme fire risk and the moderate. So, in terms of how big it is, Fire Ant is right. This is not normal. In terms of this not happening before, it did happen on a smaller scale on that December event. But Fire Ant is right. This is pretty unusual for a very large area to have fire weather conditions like this.
All right.
And I also want to mention that that derecho also contained over 120 tornadoes. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I just thought I'd point that out.
Yeah, that caused a lot of QLCS tornadoes in it.
Tornado, it will all depend on the mesoscale. QLCS mesoscale is random.
Yeah.
That's why I like the 10 sig, because there's always that chance of it overperforming. Even some of the semi-discrete mergers could do an EF2 plus, maybe.
Okay.
If it gets the right merger. That's why I like the 10 sig.
Thank you. Tony, what's up?
Oh, sorry.
So I want to answer each question.
Sure. Go for it.
Me personally, Pete, I am actually leaning towards a less of a tornado threat than I am a derecho, because I really don't think the environment is going to be at a 15 sig tor level or even a 10 sig level.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that this is going to be a powerful wind event for the most part with hail. I believe that the SPC has underplayed the hail a little.
You think they should go 45 hatch for the hail?
I believe they should, just based on the updrafts that we're seeing on some of the soundings. Like some of the air parcels and stuff on some of the updrafts is just absolutely insane.
Yeah.
They're near vertical.
Go ahead.
Fire Ant, there is one thing to note about hail, though, that makes me disagree. And this is the only reason why. The environment is great for hail, except for one thing. Hail does not like a ridiculous amount of shear. I was doing the weather project and I saw a video about hail production. You do not want shear, too much shear, because what tends to happen is when the hailstones try to form in the storms, they'll be, in a funny term, they'll be yeeted out of the cloud and it will end up not being able to grow. That's the reason why I wouldn't go 45. But I do agree that the updrafts have a really good potential of hail. It's just that the wind shear might blow them away too fast for them to have substantial growth.
Yeah, we can talk more about that soon. What I do know, hail also likes a lot of vorticity as well. They like a lot of rotation too, and we're gonna have quite a lot of it. Go ahead, Tony.
As far as the derecho aspect, I'd give it a 10% shot.
Yeah, I personally don't think it's gonna make the distance. That's just me, though.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, you're talking an arcing here with the warm sector, and I can't remember the last time this happened. I think it might have been August 10th of 2020, and they didn't go high, and they should have for the derecho.
Okay.
For that area, I think that was the last time that we had an arcing warm front like this. That's so powerful. Just give me a minute. I'm trying to go through my head on this.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Thank you for showing me that, Yoshi and Live No Mike. Ian, did you want to say anything? Go for it.
Yeah, I think a derecho could happen. I'm not saying it won't, but I'm not saying it will. I'm not saying it won't. It could happen. Also, Tristan, I'm curious about the SPC risk because everyone here is saying they should do a day 2 high risk. What are your thoughts on that?
Let's go ahead and explore. Let's explore that, and this is for Saturday's threat, just for everyone in the audience.
I think it is premature on the first day 2 outlook to do a high. All right. There are 2 reasons why: EML strength and cloud cover. They both relate with each other. Besides that, if there is more evidence that cloud cover will not murder the event and the EML will not be too strong because of it, I'll go for a day 2 high on the second update. Mm-hmm. Or stay until day 1. Another thing to consider is that I want to see it. This is where I don't want to go high. I don't. I want to see not just Mississippi blow up. I want to see if those confluence bands are alive in central Alabama. That would really determine if they
That
go
would be
high.
interesting to see if that happened, Tristan. Okay, I know Tony just dipped. We have someone else who wants to come on the show. Someone we haven't seen since hurricane season. Mr. Red Tie is on if whenever he's done unmuting his mic. In the meantime, though, I want to go ahead. Tristan, I remember Tony was talking about. I wish he was here because he could help us out. He was talking about that shortwave. He was actually talking. Ian, you remember that shortwave, the talk that Tony was talking to about right before stream?
Yeah, it's a south. I think it's coming from the southwesterly now.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. So just for those that tuning in at home, what we're talking about is a possible shortwave trough we've been noticing in the synoptics. So basically, a shortwave trough. Best way to explain that what the heck that is it's kind of a trough. It's kind of somewhat detached from the main trough. It's its own little shortwave. The best way you can describe it. And if what we were seeing originally was that shortwave trough coming in from the west and impacting the deep south, which would have potentially inhibited some of that severe weather risk. But now the angle is shifted to from the southwest, and instead that's going to enhance the severe weather risk because that puts more that brings in more moisture from the Gulf, and that cloud cover definitely could decrease from that as a result. That's at least from what Tony was talking to us about, Ian. If you want to add anything more to that, go for it.
Yeah, and Tony, I believe, was saying they need to he was saying they need to go like a day too high risk, and I agree with him.
Yeah, for sure. That's what he was talking about. We can hopefully have him and Brendan come on and later and have them explain it because we really need all the help we can get tonight so we can help decipher all of this and give you guys the best information we can. But yeah, with that being said, John, you haven't talked too much in a while. What's your thought process on potentially a day too high risk?
It's definitely not out of the question. I think honestly, we wait for 0Z.
Sure.
We discussed that just before stream. I think it's a lot of that's gonna depend on 0Z.
Yeah, 0Z stuff should be coming up starting shortly. I know the 23Z her is out right now. Which Yoshi, you showed us in live no mic. Convection's starting to fire off in Missouri right here.
Yeah. In the 18th hour, we're starting to see the HRRRs show storm formation, which is very important because storm formation. Sorry if I'm a bit empty-minded today. I wasn't expecting this. That it's very important how we see how these storms form because that'll somewhat determine how they go for the rest of their life too.
Mm-hmm.
And we want to know where they pop up initially to see more accurate readings of who's going to be at risk first. So seeing this will help us a lot with hourly forecasting specifically. We probably won't get into like real-time analysis until maybe 3 a.m.
Sure.
3 a.m. to 6 a.m. is when we'll start looking at real-time observations and comparing the models, seeing if they are underperforming, overperforming on these specific observations. I have seen some people say that the HRRR is underdoing moisture, apparently. Apparently it's catching up. So do with that as you will. If that's true, anyways. I haven't looked at that myself yet.
That's interesting. Go for it.
I do have a way we can check this underperforming moisture.
All right.
What you got?
SPC hourly surface observations coming from the Southeast United States.
All right.
Let me pull up dew point real quick. 0 hours on
So
23Z.
here's the interesting part. On the one hand, you can see carefully there's spots that are kind of like they're near 60, they're not near 60. But I'm noticing something is that the wind direction is still out of the south a little bit. And
Interesting.
that what's making me think is that it's not pulling away moisture, it's stalling the moisture. But then when you look at the Gulf Coast, that's a different story.
Okay.
You see a decent tongue right here of the warm sector. So this warm sector may be being delayed, but it looks like the warm sector is huge in trade-off.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna look at
that
RTMA.
might limit Friday night, but boost Saturday. And that's my concern.
That's very concerning.
Because another thing that really concerned me about Saturday was the SPC outlook. And I got to explain this. So we can look here. Here's the wind probability update. It used to be a wind all the way over here. And what we're thinking was, oh, there might be a chance this goes maybe a small complex and washes out.
Yep, that's
warm
right.
sector or does that. Nope. The wind's all the way now up to just northern Mississippi. So that tells me that any boundaries are going to be weak enough to not kill the moisture, strong enough to help spin. And that is a huge problem. In fact, the SPC on day 3 highlights this moment. Where is it? Here it is. As mid-level height falls over spread the diurnal warming air mass, increasing convective development is suspended along the deepening baroclinic zone, as well as residential outflows to the northeast in the Tennessee Valley from prior day 2 convection. So it's not killing it, it's boosting it. And Pat, I told you, that was my worst fear.
That was
any leftover convection or a complex able to get that nice scrape, but not punch it, would be able to help spin. That is what the SPC is highlighting.
Yep.
That was one of my fears since day 5.
Yeah,
and
we
now
were looking at that. You were telling me about it. That
I
is
will
very
say,
true.
we are seeing the HRRR downplay moisture in its initial hour in southern Alabama and a lot of Mississippi right now. It's showing the HRRR is showing a lot of spots at 50s right now, even though RTMA analysis shows many of those areas above 60. Like a good bit too, 62, 63, even some 65s down in Mobile, where I believe HRRR is showing maybe 62.
Holy crap, that is...
So that's another thing I was telling Pat was that I felt like the models, especially with the way the Gulf of Mexico sea surface temperatures were a bit above average, I felt like the models were not really playing into that advantage. And Yoshi has just proved it.
Yep.
So I wonder if Friday is really good to underperform as much as possible. But then that raises the question, how good is Friday's convection?
We'll have to see.
That will determine how much outflow these storms get on Saturday and how much shear can spark up from that.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens. I know Ian wanted to hop in a second. I'll let him in a second, do that in a second. But Chris Mizell is in the chat right now. I want to give you a quick shout out, man. Last night you came in clutch. You gifted 10 memberships to some of the viewers here on the stream. We really appreciate that. You're on the Pat's Path Predictor channel and on Storms United. It's very humbling for you to do that for us and showing your support for the channel, and we will continue to keep you updated on all the severe weather risks. We have a question here. Hey guys, could Sunday be an enhanced risk for damaging winds? That's possible, but I'm thinking we're going to hold off on that till probably day 1 or day 2 once we get more data and information on that. But
agreed.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and let Ian talk now since he wanted to add on to something. So, go ahead.
I wasn't really going to add on to anything, but I do, again, I did mention this earlier in the stream, but I do want to mention this again for people who are just joining us. Just because you're not in, I know I sound like a broken record, but I really do need to say this. Just because you're not in the most significant threat, you could be in a marginal risk. And you could see like an EF4 tornado. That's happened before, I believe. Or a slight risk, actually. That's more reasonable.
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen, essentially. So just don't let your guard down. I've said March 14th, 2024, for example. And I've also And I also actually want to mention March 2nd and 3rd, 2020, when Nashville got an EF3 tornado. That was a slight risk.
That I remember that I woke up that morning, went to school, and a lot of people were talking about that.
Yeah.
Someone in chat was asking me about Columbus, Mississippi. I'm taking a quick look at that right now. Taking a quick look at that right now. That is close to the Alabama border.
Yes.
Orbit. You're gonna want to be watching this throughout much of the day tomorrow. Like your severe weather event is your main event's going to be sorry, not tomorrow, Saturday. Your severe weather main event is going to be on Saturday, and you are right in the middle of the moderate risk. As for exact timing, we can give you a general idea based on what we have with the runs. Oh, zero Z starting to trickle in to a little bit. The first
I'm not
hour
liking this. I'm not liking this run initialization at all. Honestly, it is not handling moisture well, in my opinion.
It's underperforming it again?
Yeah, specifically in northwest Mississippi, many areas are 57, 55, 60, where we're seeing 63, 62, and 57. Many areas, especially in southern Alabama, are getting really underreported. I'm seeing some lower 50s, where right now it is closer to middle to upper 50s. And we got a 59 area in southern Alabama that right now is reporting as 62 on RTMA.
Okay.
And a lot of especially southern Alabama and Mississippi are getting really underreported of moisture right now. I'm not liking this.
Neither am I, honestly.
Give
That's
me
concerning.
I'm showing it on my screen here. Give me a second. Alabama dew points and Mississippi dew point.
Yeah,
let's get some data here to see. Oh, that's yeah. Yeah.
I'm showing it.
Yep.
Yeah, those
There's a
dews.
66, 64, 63, 63.
My
That's
goodness.
what the models were kind of showing, though, Yoshi, was that it was going to be a very broad warm sector, but very.
It isn't, sorry for interrupting, it isn't just southern Alabama. There's an area of 51 in it for HRRR. RTMA right now is reporting a 57 on it.
Where is this at?
Northern Alabama. You can see it on Pivotal Weather. Southeast US.
There's a 59, actually. There are a few 59s.
There's a 59? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, so look at
my
screen.
Goodness.
Yeah, that's in north central Alabama, kind of close to Huntsville.
That would be on the northern edge of Coleman County, right here.
That's problematic.
That is problematic.
Okay, I'm going to take a look at the HRRR and see what they're going for with the dew point right now.
Let's be aware about this. Some moisture that we're seeing up north may not be a warm sector issue, and I needed to clarify this. The shortwave wasn't going to blow all the moisture away. What it was going to do is scatter some higher pockets of dew points in certain areas while the main warm sector stayed to the south. It is concerning that the dew points are higher than what the models wanted. However, part of that I do think is due to shortwave things, because we did have some severe thunderstorms today from the marginal risk. So I do think part of that is the shortwave and part of that is the moisture starting to come up. So it's a mix of both.
All right. But in the meantime, though, that part in Coleman County, the 0Z HRRR initializes at 56, and we're already at 59.
Yes.
So
yeah,
that is concerning.
Oh, go ahead, Ian.
Yeah, and also I forgot. I know I'm going back to March 2020. I forgot to mention there was also an EF4 in Cookeville, Tennessee, in 2020 in a slight risk that killed 19 people. I just thought I'd point that out too.
Yeah, I think the point Ian's trying to make out here is we need to be ready for anything, expect the unexpected, and and we'll keep you updated here on the Pat's Path Predictor channel. That's the general gist of what we're kind of doing here with this.
Yeah,
and also we need to prepare for a little bit of everything.
Of course you did.
Okay.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be laughing at that because this is pretty serious, but
That is
Oh
pretty
we
serious.
literally, this is literally like this week is literally been the definition of a little bit of everything.
It
With the
has
fire
been.
risk, with the heavy snow that that the WPC predicted, with the severe weather, we've been very
Flooding,
busy.
high
Oh,
winds,
hold on.
High
Real
winds.
quick. Go ahead, John. You
Go ahead, John.
simple definition of that.
Yeah, very simple definition of that.
Yoshi,
Okay.
are you looking at my screen of the HRRR
Mhm.
00Z starting to
I'll
come out?
tell you guys, I
Is
gotta
this on
get
internet?
going. I gotta get going. I will try and be back tomorrow though. If you guys
Sure.
are streaming again tomorrow, the
All right.
event. What
Yep.
time are you guys streaming tomorrow, by the way?
I'm probably going to start streaming earlier because the convection's going to start initializing. I'm probably going to stream probably around like 5 or
Okay,
6 Eastern.
Yeah, I'll be available at that time.
All right, brilliant. I just figured I'd tell you that just so that because we got some stuff going on. So, yeah. All right. Thank you for coming on, Ian. We really appreciate it, and have a nice night.
I'll see you guys tomorrow. And one more reminder. Just be aware of everything, even if you're not in the highest risk. Again, look at March 2020 and March of 2024, for example. Again, I will continue to repeat this throughout the next few days because I don't want to have people caught off guard and we don't do anything about it because I want to keep people aware that this can happen at any point. Just again, don't let your guard down, even if you're in like a slight risk, even if you're in like northeastern Ohio.
Yeah.
Don't let your guard down.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you very much, Ian, for coming on. In the meantime, though, Peter Moss through $2, another $2 donation. Don't forget the Atlantic Tropical Mirage as well. Oh yeah, yeah. Thanks, John, for that. I'm gonna go ahead and make this our first pinned message of the night from
This
John.
is really concerning.
What's up? Go ahead, Tristan.
The worm sector on the new HRRR is absolutely huge. It's not. The flow is really getting there, and the model HRRR now wants to show around. It's showing 64 at the Gulf Coast, and when I look at Mississippi, I'm already seeing 64 to 66, and it's the moisture is being underperformed by 2 degrees at least. So there's a problem here because we have current observation showing us that the moisture is a bit overperforming, and the HRRR is catching up. I can tell because some of these dew points, it showed 57 as 59. That's actually not the farthest off it could go.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's really underperforming moisture, and that's a big concern because when the southeast loves a good warm sector with an EML, the best tornado outbreaks come from that. The fact that, and here's the thing, and I don't know if the models are having this still. It is still technically winter.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if it's a winter bias.
I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. But I did get a quick question from David, not David Schlauer, just David on this chat. Is there any chance for strong tornadoes for Sunday? I'm thinking for Sunday. I know Tony was talking to me about that a little bit. Tristan, remember when Tony was talking to us about this afternoon for like New Jersey and all that stuff?
Yeah.
I think that's very possible. Maybe like areas like in New Jersey, Maryland, Delaware could see some tornadoes from this.
Yeah.
But I think the main risk is going to be straight line winds. What are your thoughts?
Brennan's on.
Sonny, do you want to go first, Sonny? You can
go ahead, Sonny.
To see that Brendan's on.
Oh, Brendan's on. All right,
yeah,
perfect.
Sorry about that, guys.
Hey, Brendan.
Sorry about that. I was on the call.
Don't worry about it. But yeah, we're just briefly going over something else real quickly. But then we need your input on this stuff that's happening tomorrow and Saturday. But we're talking about mainly like the possible tornado risk for Sunday, which is that 15% in the East Coast. I'm thinking it's mainly going to be a straight line wind threat, but there could be a few tornadoes with it. Tristan, what are your thoughts on it real quickly?
Straight line winds especially. However, here's the thing I want people to understand.
Sure.
Just because we tell you it's damaging straight line wind doesn't mean it's going to be completely damaging straight line wind, because this is a chain reaction risk. What I'm saying is one thing sparks another. The mesoscale on Saturday, we could be talking about damaging winds now, and you get damaging winds with embedded supercell stronger than predicted.
Yeah.
So even the Sunday risk, especially if you're in the Carolinas, in Georgia, and northern Florida, especially, I do think the Mid-Atlantic and North, it will still be mostly damaging wind. Could a comet head produce a brief tornado? Yeah. However, this event is so severe, I would even say Sunday needs to be taken like an enhanced, especially if you're in the South. Even if they stay slight until day one. I don't see, all I'm saying is we don't know about Sunday because Saturday is unknown, and we don't want to tell people it's going to be a damaging wind and then they have a semi-discrete supercell producing a wedge tornado in their backyard. I don't want to do that to them. So for the sake of Sunday, we'll just say it depends on the mesoscale evolution of Saturday.
All right. Thank you very much, Tristan. Brendan, you're the main star for tonight. We had Tony on not too long ago. What are your thoughts for this whole system we're seeing tomorrow and Saturday? Go for it.
Yeah. I'll start first with Friday. I'm going to kind of give you my thoughts on both, if you don't mind.
Go for it.
So as somebody who lives in Central Illinois, you would think that tomorrow would be the main event. Tomorrow's the appetizer. Saturday's the entree. Which to me as a meteorologist is mind-blowing. That even a moderate risk for severe weather is the appetizer to what could be a prolific tornado outbreak across the Gulf on Saturday, which I'll talk about in a moment.
Sure.
But starting with Friday, I really believe that the main threat is going to be damaging winds and large hail. Across much of West Central Illinois and even into parts of Chicago Metro by the time we get to 10, 11 o'clock. Now, I know there's some folks that are going to be chasing tornadoes out near South Central Illinois. I've heard a few of my colleagues talking about chasing and intercepting in Springfield, maybe going down to Lincoln. To me, yes, there is the potential for tornadoes, especially to the south and east of that band, that severe convective line that will likely hit Central Illinois. The problem is, I think that, most of the tornado threat, if we do see it, is going to be further south from Illinois and into Missouri and Arkansas, especially where we have a little bit more of that thermodynamic profile to play with. So again, I think the main threat for for Friday is going to be the damaging winds and the hail across much of Illinois and even extending into Missouri. Now, by the way, honorable mention to the Gulf. States like Alabama, for example, or Mississippi. Yes, there could be severe weather down there too. But the main event will be Saturday. We'll talk about that in a moment. What I will say about the SPC forecast, I think the 10% SIG tour is a little bit too aggressive.
All right.
I actually expect for them to trim that a bit for Friday and actually confine that more to, what would be Southern Illinois or South Central Illinois.
Sure.
And even towards in Missouri and those parts.
Yeah.
Then we get to Saturday. Pat, I've throughout work today, and by the way, folks, my job does involve meteorology. It's certainly not different from what I got my degree in.
Yeah.
This was the water cooler talk of the day. It's been the water cooler talk for a lot of us. And I'll just say this, Pat, I've known you for about 2 years now.
Yep.
And I've known many of you possibly even longer.
That are in the stream.
That are in the stream, correct.
Yeah.
I am absolutely sick to my stomach on Saturday. It makes me sick, the soundings that I've seen and the setup that will take place. I've heard some folks in the community say, well, what if we have morning precipitation and morning convection? Doesn't matter. It could storm at 10 a.m. But when that secondary trough comes through and brings southwesterly flow above the boundary layer, you're drying things out quick. you are eroding any capping that exists, which should be minimal. And you are opening the door to a warm sector primed and ready to go.
Yeah.
The reflectivity that I'm sure you guys have gone through is disturbing. And look, I certainly, and nobody here is at all claiming this will be 2011. I can't tell you how many times I've heard that from any Dixie event we talk about. But what I will say is, unfortunately, I would not be shocked if we get at least one major tornado tomorrow that impacts a lot of people. Or excuse me, I'm sorry, Saturday. Thank you, Saturday.
Yeah.
But all in all, guys, I know you probably beat the dead horse on Saturday, but in all of my years tracking weather, which goes all the way back to Joplin when I first got into weather back in 2011.
Yeah.
This is probably one of only 5 times where I've seen a photograph and I've literally been sick.
Yeah.
It's disturbing, the forecasts that are coming out. And it's not hype. It's not BS. It's just fact. The information that we have, the helicity is some of the highest I've seen for Dixie at 500 to 600 meters squared per second squared from 0 to 3 kilometers. We're talking about shear at the low levels at 50 knots.
Yeah.
From 0 to 1. You're talking about Cape near 2,000 in March. You're talking about
Cape
lapse
at over
rates in the high
3,000 in a lot of these areas.
And 3,000, depending on where you're looking, right?
Yeah.
It's as a forecaster, guys, my last thought I'll say, I always try to look for what could be the fail mode. The only fail mode that I could, and the only fail mode that I can think of is if that secondary shortwave behind the main system doesn't come together. And I would put that probability at about a 5% chance, which then leaves us with a 95% chance that we see this thing play out as we expect. But guys, I'm alarmed. I'm concerned. I've run out of adjectives to describe it. But I will say, for those of you that are watching this, I don't care what streamer you watch. I don't care where the hell you get your information. Share it with people that live in that area. They need it.
They absolutely. This is one of the rare times that I will say that I will have people say this on this channel, because all I ask normally is for like a like, subscribe to the channel, all that stuff. But Brendan is right. We need to get the word out about this. And I know things are a little scary right now, but the best thing you can do is be prepared, and we'll give you all the information we can as it comes to us. But Brendan, I want to ask you something very quickly. You were mentioning the shortwave trough. Could you explain to the audience how exactly it worked and what exactly the shift that we've been talking about behind the scenes has been going on? At least this shift I've been talking with Tony about.
So, you're talking about the shortwave itself?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just explain how that works to our audience.
Yeah, so we have really strong, the system itself. When we talk about troughs, let's I think back up a moment and talk about the pattern itself.
Sure.
We have really strong westerly flow that's cutting across the Four Corner states tonight, and even eventually into the Texas Panhandle tomorrow. And by the way, not to get sidetracked, but that's a whole nother discussion when we talk about wildfire. I think we definitely need to talk about that too. But that wind profile aloft, when it interacts with higher topography, so think plateaus, think mountains in places like Mexico, New Mexico, and even southwestern Texas, that helps to create systems or essentially lee-side lows. And so what you expect to happen tomorrow is this initial system that's going to come through Friday, I should say. Again, I'm mixing up Friday and Saturday. As the system comes through Friday, it's actually going to bring with it really strong westerly flow on the back end of the cold front out in the southwestern United States. And as it does so, that's going to interact with topography and then develop a new system out near south central Texas that will then progress northeastward towards Alabama, Mississippi. And so what you essentially have is you have the first system coming in late tomorrow night into Saturday morning that's going to supply your moisture advection across Alabama, Mississippi to start.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take much because you're already on the Gulf. So then that secondary subtle trough that begins to dig across the southwest, that is going to bring with it southwesterly flow. Over top, of the boundary layer, meaning anywhere between the surface to about 1 kilometer off the ground. So you got moisture in that boundary layer.
Yeah.
But then you have dry air that's moving over top of that, and that's causing your instability.
Yep.
So that feature in of itself, what makes this setup unique is very rarely do you see a secondary system follow behind the first and then actually produce more of a tornadic environment than the first system. That's the thing. Unlike Friday, when we're looking at just one singular low bombing out in Iowa, we're talking about a two-parter. We're talking about the first system being the catalyst for your moisture advection across the Gulf, but then that second system, as it follows behind the cold front, that's going to bring your secondary punch. You get the moisture with the first one, drier with the second one. That's going to create your instability. It's also going to create the veering that we're going to see, that turning of the winds with height that will then allow for these storms to not just initiate in an open warm sector, but also be really good prolific tornado producers across places like Alabama and Mississippi.
Yeah. So explain to me, so yeah, that I think that helps a little bit. So next thing, I looked at the 18Z HER, and I know a lot of people have been screaming about this. We're looking at least by 1 o'clock in the afternoon in Mississippi, a huge line of cells, like semi-discrete to discrete. And then there's some lines behind that. What's your take, and what should people be taking away from seeing all this crazy stuff we're showing here on the channel and in general with these models?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the last part of that?
What's your thought? Okay, what are your thoughts on some of the runs you've been seeing, and what should people take away from all this crazy crap they are seeing?
That we, because of sort of the discussion that I teed off about the setup, we are expected to see semi-discrete to discrete supercells across Bama and Mississippi.
Yeah.
And when you have discrete supercells, you have storms that are really working on their own. My professor back at NIU, he would always say, at some point when you're a supercell, it's not no longer what the atmosphere feels, it's what the storm feels.
Yeah.
And that's when you start to talk about things like storm relative motion, or you talk about storm relative helicity. That, when you talk about relative helicity or relative shear, you're talking not about what the environment's feeling, it's talking about what the storm is feeling.
Yep.
And so that is the one thing, really the one caveat that I want to mention is, I'm expecting a lot of discrete supercell activities across Bama, Mississippi as we get to Saturday, especially Saturday afternoon into the evening. And because they're discrete, they're going to really be unimpeded by other neighboring storms, and that's going to allow them to produce. So the longer they stay discrete, which we expect it to under the right conditions, under this environment, the better they will be at producing their own tornadoes, and their own inflow, and their own outflow. When you start to see these storms congeal and converge, that's when you start to run into, issues of cold pooling, and then typically you have more of a QLCS situation, and, maybe you get some spit ups within it, but, who knows? In the case of supercells, you got to remember, these are the most mature storms in weather. And when you get a supercell to form, you have all the right ingredients, and the storm itself is doing its own thing, and it's producing individually.
Absolutely.
And so what I'll say to that, Pat, is all the models, to answer your question, are showing that discrete activity across these areas that are really expected to be, under the gun. And we're not seeing much of that congealing of convection.
Yeah.
Not seeing much of that in the models. Very spread out for the most part. And I'll kind of leave with one last comment, Pat. I think, and as a prediction, I'm kind of jumping ahead to forecast. I think the SPC does something unprecedented. I told Tony about this offline. Usually the SPC, if they were to issue a categorical upgrade, such as the H word, they'd wait till day one. I think they pull the high tomorrow.
I was about to ask you that.
And why I say that, and I don't say that lightly, I don't like saying that. I'm always a proponent of them wait until the day of an event to up it to a high.
Yeah.
Why I say that is because I think this is more of an unprecedented setup. It's not very often you see a secondary trough following a main system in the Gulf and then producing southwesterly flow above the boundary layer. That's not something you see very often. You might see that associated with a trough or a bowling ball that comes across the Gulf. We've seen that before, April 27th. But aside from that, we don't typically see something like this. This is more of an oddball setup. And so because of the unprecedented nature of the setup, and because of the confidence we have that there will be ample clearing and an environment conducive for discrete supercells capable of producing long track and violent tornadoes, I think it only makes the most sense to just say, you know what, screw it, pull the high now. Let people know.
All
so
right.
I would not be shocked if we wake up to a high.
Okay.
And
Tony's first of all back. Tony, welcome back. Obviously,
I got some information that is scaring me right now. What's actually giving me chills.
Oh,
what's going on?
The moisture invention is so good. 63 dew points have already been recorded in northwestern Mississippi.
Oh no.
Yeah, Brendan, I wanted to ask you something very quickly since Tristan brought this up. We're seeing the moisture and the dew points overperform what the HER and other runs are initializing. What are your thoughts on that, and how could that enhance or inhibit severe weather? I just want to ask you that very quickly. We're looking at, like, Tristan, you can go ahead and go off some of the values you're looking at, and same with Yoshi.
Sure.
In terms of...
I'm not looking at the model, by the way. I'm looking at current observations.
Yeah, I just know you guys were talking about that, so if you guys want to go ahead and have that conversation.
Current observation from Cleveland in Mississippi, 72 degrees with a dew point of 63 and clear. A 63, and I gotta go to the top of the page for this one. There is a 66 degrees with a 30 Fahrenheit dew point in northwestern Mississippi.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but Pat, can you go to HRRR 21 hour and look at surface-based CAPE real quick?
Where at?
Oh, Jesus.
That's increased.
Continental US. Also, if you're on Pivotal Weather, if you can, go to Model Trend Loop.
That's all increased. This is uptrending.
It is uptrended a lot, and I mean a lot.
Okay, you said, okay, go to the HRRR and
HRRR 21 hour surface CAPE.
All right,
and go to Model Loop.
That's why I jumped back on. I saw that.
Okay, where's the Model Loop portion of it at? I'm trying to find this.
Just go to animation and single image and choose Model Trend Loop.
Oh, yeah. Let me take a quick look at it. Oh,
and
that is a problem.
Link between 18Z and 0Z, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about.
Is this down near Mississippi and Louisiana?
No, it's more in Arkansas and Missouri. Yeah.
Oh, that's an even bigger trend.
Yeah.
And apparently it's also a bit slower. I know someone in here.
Mm-hmm.
I know someone in here had concerns that the line would go too fast.
Yeah.
And that concern is starting to go away because it looks like it's getting slower.
Oh.
Yeah, and actually that's a great call out. I think was that you, Yoshi, that called that out?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great call out. So I had mentioned in the beginning, well, this would have only been like 5 minutes ago, but I was talking about if there was to be a tornado threat, we'd be talking about far southern Illinois, Missouri. I think I may have mentioned Arkansas. If I didn't, I apologize. But that area has uptrended for tornadoes, and that's why, going back to the SPC outlooks, I would think that they're going to trim that 10 sig down towards, say, the new Madrid area of Arkansas, Missouri, Illinois, because that in and of itself has uptrended. I have seen moisture returns uptrending. We've seen subsequent to that CAPE uptrending. That could be really interesting. And so, but Yoshi, to your point, that initiation won't be as progressive as that initial line along the cold front up by me in west central Illinois. That's a whole different situation. That could produce QLCS tours, but mainly damaging winds and hail. When you start to get south, away from the arcing of the cold front, and as that cold front sort of drags on the southern end of it, that's where you have a little bit more time for that environment to set up a little bit, even at night as we start to get more nocturnal. I'm actually surprised that the models are uptrending that. But that has been a trend, I think, for the last 24 hours. I don't think it's even just 21Z. I think this has been a trend the last 12 to 24 over time. We've seen that moisture return really become more amplified in that area. So that's very concerning.
Yeah.
And that's why I said earlier when I was on before I had to step away about St. Louis.
Sure.
I will like to mention that what is going on right now, we talked about this last night. I remember saying, I don't think this is right. I think the moisture in Cape is higher, and I think the cells will actually pop off. The models are showing exactly what I talked about last night. And that's concerning that the models, every time they say something, they've done it. That's concerning to me. Very concerning. And this is what people that I don't like being right in these types of situations, because I know on the one hand, I did an educated guess and it's paying off, but that educated guess is affecting people's lives, and that's the issue.
That's a big problem right there. Well, that is something. This is a huge development, and that I just saw, and I really don't know what to think about it right now, just other than the fact that we are in for a long next 2 days. And
Pat, you're not gonna like this. Look at 20 with the same parameters that I said earlier. Go to 24-hour and look at the difference between 18Z and 0Z.
18Z and 0C?
A comparison, basically.
Yeah. Oh.
Comparison, yeah.
Oh, that's problematic. That's a massive uptrend.
I'm looking at Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, and we got some oranges there that we haven't seen.
No, we're looking at over 2,000 Cape already.
Wait, hold on. Does that mean? And
I do want to ask.
It's the EML from Strong over there.
Oh my goodness! Hold on. Okay, 26-hour has a lot of yellows and oranges we haven't seen before in Arkansas, Louisiana, and parts of Mississippi.
It actually, wait a minute, 26 hours actually, oh, hold up. Oh, never mind. That's a massive problem. That is 9 o'clock at night.
What I'm talking about? We have a good SB Cape increase, and I'm not liking this.
No.
I'm not liking this. It has been uptrending for the past 6 hours now, I believe. Just look at this 27 hours showing the same thing.
Hey,
I'm actually you know what? Hold on a second. We're off stream here, but Tristan, can you go back just a couple of frames? I think that's you, Tristan, with the yeah, thank you. Wow.
Hey Pat.
Yeah, John.
I'm about to send you something that I just got sent.
All right, go ahead for sure. John, while you're doing that, are you seeing what Tristan's putting on the disc? Oh, yes, you are.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey, Pat.
That is
wow. That's a problem.
Okay, so
hold on. Okay. All right. John, you go first, and then we'll figure out who wants to go next.
Here's the situation that I'm noticing on the latest HRRR model.
Okay.
We're looking at more of a discrete and semi-discrete situation for St. Louis. North of St. Louis, that's where your what I call a windbag is going to be.
That is very problematic. What I'm looking at on COD.
We're seeing more shear in Mississippi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on, I have to go for a minute. Sorry.
You know what? I may be eating my words on the 10 sig. I think they actually keep it.
Yeah, they have to keep it.
Now, the reason... Okay, I totally just forgot what I was going to say.
The reason for something... Okay.
I'll come back to what I was going to say so I can get my thoughts together.
Who wants to go next while John's thinking?
Pat?
Yeah, go ahead,
Pat.
Johnny.
There is somebody who's been having his hand up in the audience for a while.
I invite him to speak already. He's not coming on here, but we do have a new guy on here, Weather Kingdom. Weather
Hello.
Kingdom, you
Hey,
came at
Weather
a
Kingdom. How you been?
very interesting time.
Okay.
I do have a question for Brendan, real quick.
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you covered this while I was gone, and if we go over it, I'm sorry again. What is the chance of a derecho out of this in your neck of the woods, Brendan? I'm
Yeah,
thinking
good
August
question. I've
10th.
heard that being tossed around
What?
too. The only
August 10th?
concern why I don't
And the
think it's going to be a
weather.
derecho is what?
What's up? Hold on.
Yes.
Weather Kingdom, what's going on?
Yes.
I'll hold on a sec. All right, go ahead, guys.
There we go. So the term, derecho, yes, it's going to have it'll have the strong winds to meet the threshold. It would have the spatial scale to meet the threshold in terms of the area that it's hitting, but it has to also go the distance. It's got to go 300 plus miles. I don't think it does it. I think
Okay.
once it gets to Chicago, you're going to get well into nighttime, 10, 11 o'clock. It's going to lose steam over the lake. Now, I know for my Midwest folks watching this live stream, we have seen before MCSs roll across the lake and spit out the other side still in MCS. But in this particular case, we are early into March. We're not in July. And I think we're going to see that weekend by the time we get to Chicago. Could see about 60 to 70 mile an hour gusts for folks in the suburbs of Chicago, western and southern suburbs, even up towards the North Shore. But other than that, I think really the worst of the winds are going to be in west central Illinois. And I don't think at the end of the day this is going to reach derecho.
So we're not looking at like an August 10th, 2020 situation?
We are not looking
even
at an
close.
August 10th. No,
Not even
not even close. As a matter of
Derecho,
fact, though, Tony, all jokes aside, what Tristan showed on his stream is more concerning than I've seen on the models the last couple of days. If you recall back the last couple of days leading up to Friday, all it was an arcing line along the front.
Yeah.
That's all it was. And maybe it had a couple little cells firing up across southern Illinois. But the entire time, as we talked about these last couple streams, there was clearly discrepancies on mixing, and those were properly called out. But I was personally not expecting, well, maybe I was. I, for some reason, thought that the moisture returns were too low, especially in places like Missouri and Arkansas. And that ended up being the case. And now we're starting to see a correction there. And so because of that, now the models are not just showing that arcing line, but they're now showing south of that and even downstream supercells across places like Litchfield in Illinois, especially Carbondale, north of Carbondale. I'm thinking of my Southern Illinois folks. I'm trying not to forget about y'all. But even probably not towards Metropolis. That's way too far south. But probably even Metropolis, actually. Metropolis, yeah. You guys too. Paducah, you guys too. So it's very interesting trend in the models, but I don't necessarily know if we're that surprised by it.
Yeah,
Pat,
for sure.
I'm definitely not.
Right. Yeah,
I'm not. By the way, I pulled up a sounding from parts of northern Mississippi. The purple I highlighted there is how thick the Cape is.
Ooh.
Wow.
So that's an important part we don't talk about is how thick is the Cape between that white line and the red line, and that's pretty thick for glancing below the trough.
Yeah.
The capes right here are ranging the forecast. It wants 3,000 Cape. Really? Let me highlight that. Wait.
Yeah.
3,000 Cape?
That's very
right
concerning.
there below that blue line.
That's very concerning.
Yeah. That's enough for big ton thunderstorms.
Yeah.
But here's your thing. Your P watts are also starting to go up, which is a bad sign for Saturday. And we talked about this last night.
Yes, we did.
This is not only going to be a danger because the cells are moving fast. It's not only going to be a danger because the environment is so good. You will not, most of the time, be able to see the tornado. These are
HPs. Yeah.
These are
HPs. It should be nighttime.
Yeah, nighttime.
Should be a nighttime event. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Sorry to cut you off, Tristan, but John, you had said you remembered what you wanted to say. Go for it.
Okay, so I was talking about before I forgot what I was going to say. We were looking at models, and basically, with a more discrete mode for St. Louis, we're looking at a higher potential for significant large hail and even strong tornadoes for the metro area.
Yeah, that was what we were talking about that actually. The 0Z her definitely puts that risk a lot more, especially for the St. Louis metro area. It also puts Springfield and Bloomington more in the line of fire for potential discrete stuff if it gets that far east. And Brendan was mentioning Litchfield, Metropolis, Paducah, Carbondale, those areas as well. And if Rockets was here tonight, he could definitely attest that. He lives in Southern Illinois, and he'd want to take a quick look at all of this. But that is it. Go ahead, Yoshi.
I want to say something real quick. Something I have noticed, been told, and I think this is very worrying. All right, so Pat, if you can go to significant tornado parameter, with trend with model trend. Look at 24-hour and 27-hour. Is this 27-hour? Yeah, 27-hour.
Yeah, I'll take a quick look at that. Let's see, SIG-TOR parameter. Trying to find that very quickly. Let's see. Yeah, SIG-TOR. Okay, so 24-hour and 20. So 24-hour and
27-hour.
Okay.
Yeah, and just look at those real quick.
Yeah, there's a massive change between the 18 and the 0Z. That's SIG-TOR parameter. Okay, just for context, 18Z, we were looking at like 2.6 as a max. We're up to about, I'd say, 3.5. That's a huge jump in terms of percentage.
I promise you, you are not gonna like hour 27. It is worse.
I'll take a look at hour 27 then.
Yes, take a look.
Can I point something out I see on the HRRR? This is a very interesting move that the HRRR has done.
Hour 27. That really exploded.
Yeah.
We're up to 5 for SIG-TOR parameter. Before we were maxed out at about 4, like 5, but in a very isolated area. The 5 is a lot, like around 4, but a very small area. Your SIG-TOR parameter has gone up a lot, especially. It's also, I'm noticing, it's growing a lot too in the St. Louis area as well, John.
Yeah, I've noticed that too.
Oh no.
All right, so I want to show something I've been noticing with HRRR, and this is kind of both concerned me but interest. So let's watch this. So first of all, here's 4Z. Why does HRRR show this early?
Yeah, I saw that earlier in Louisiana.
And let's go through time. It turns into a small MCS complex.
Yeah. I could reach it.
You can tell because look right here.
Yeah.
So like this. So let's see how this evolves.
Yeah,
that is an interesting evolution.
Yeah.
That's concerning for sure. But anyway, sorry to interrupt, Tristan. Sorry to interrupt, Tristan, but we got a $2 donation again from Peter Moss. He continues coming in clutch throughout the stream. We really appreciate all the support you have given us. Any support you have given has really helped out the channel. We really appreciate it. He wanted us to check hour 26 near around the St. Louis area. Let's go ahead. Okay, we can't do. Actually, we can do regional just to do that. We'll go to the Midwestern United States for hour 26 at the trends. Let's go ahead and look at the 12Z, 18Z. Yeah, that's definitely significantly uptrended for that region in St. Louis at hour 26. This is, for context, 9 o'clock at night Central Time. 18Z was much further to the west and a lot slower, but we peaked at around 3.2. Now we're peaking at about 3.5 in St. Louis, around the St. Louis metro area, but we've really increased in southern Missouri. So thank you very much, Peter, for the $2 donation. We really appreciate that. But anyway, Tristan, I apologize for cutting you off.
On Brendan's thoughts, because this is kind of confusing when we're talking about the Southwestern Trough.
Sure. Go ahead.
The HRRR wants a morning unorganized MCS in the middle of Alabama.
Yeah, that's what concerns me too.
And you know what? It actually supports some of the tornado threat. I checked some
Yeah.
soundings here. It was decent. But Brendan, why would the HRRR be showing that if there's a southwestern
Brendan's
trough
not
pushing
here.
everything away?
Brendan's not here anymore. He left with Tony.
Yeah.
Oh,
Poor
damn.
Brendan.
I hope.
See, look at the way that doesn't make sense with a southwestern trough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me check the temps and the dews for you, Tristan. I want to take a quick look at them.
I'm very worried about surface base cape, especially on hour 37. And I'm gonna look at, let me get it here. Significant tornado parameter. There we go.
Okay.
And yeah, for some reason it went up a lot in Kentucky and Indiana.
Yeah,
looking at hour 39. Oh wow.
Oh, it definitely increased.
Weirdly enough, parts of Illinois, Mississippi have gone down in FTP.
Yeah.
I would worry about New Orleans too.
Mississippi. That's interesting.
Why
Yeah.
would that be happening if there's a southwestern trough?
I think there's something we may not have considered. You know that increase in dew points? I'm looking at this. That MCS may develop if it oversaturates.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
That's so concerning.
That would be problematic if it did.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if it stays...
hold on.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Pat.
Go ahead.
This is even more concerning.
Sure.
That southwestern trough is doing its job. But here's the thing. The unorganized MCS that develops in central Alabama moves north. So it still clears the warm sector. And the moisture is coming back.
Yeah.
Outflow boundaries for supercells coming from Mississippi.
Wait a minute. Let me take a quick gander.
Because if that happens, yeah, northern Alabama will be a little bit spared, but any supercells that can drag on that outflow boundary from the MCS might be able to be better at tornado production.
Yeah.
So it's a mixed ball game here. Look at the supercells in Louisiana. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you can do the Hornets around Louisiana.
Yeah, I'm seeing it too on COD.
But that's a very interesting trend that HRRR decided to go for. And I'm curious of why. When you have a southwesterly trough, normally this wouldn't occur. Now, Brendan has talked about southwesterly troughs helping, but in this case, our early MCS may underrate the amount it could do. I want to see this evolution.
But I will say, even despite that, though, go back even one frame. You're
Brendan's
offline
back.
now. What's up, guys? But even if you're looking at the HRRR at the end of that run, look at how discrete those cells are. Even despite that.
Why does this form though? That's the confusing thing in my brain.
I think that's over-convected warm front. To be honest with you.
If it happens though, look at the boundary the supercells can yield.
I mean, it's a playground. Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, but that's my point. Tristan, it's a good point you bring up. But ultimately, at the end of the day, even if that was to take place, you're still talking about a violent tour.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the risk would be smaller though, preventing a high though.
Oh sure. Well, I still think it's high.
You think it's high, Brendan?
I think they go high.
Yeah. I think another thing we're not paying attention to, and we should start paying attention to, is what's going on in Indiana and Kentucky. Looking at the Cape, it's definitely uptrended quite a bit. Oh, it's really uptrended from the 18Z. The 18Z, we were averaging around 16 to 1800 joules per kilogram of Cape at max. Now there's a massive area of over 2,000.
That's so concerning.
That is really worrying for me. Supercell composite has really jumped in that part of Indiana and Kentucky as well. Now, granted, this is still in the morning, so we don't know exactly how it's going to pan out, but oh boy.
This brings another concern, Pat, in terms of the southern risk, by the way. There is one concern we have not talked about, and I know the Weather Prediction Center mentioned it. They are likely going to go a moderate risk. Okay, see how the MCS kind of suddenly starts to drag out?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's compare that to the SPC outlook and see if this was correct. Hypothetically, if this was correct, this part of the moderate might be trimmed off if it was correct.
Yeah.
However, here's the thing. I don't know if the HRRR is realizing of the southwesterly trough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know they are.
No.
This is.
All right. I'm not liking what's going on in northern Mississippi. Look at
like what's going on.
Yeah.
We got strong supercell after strong supercell in northern Mississippi.
That it's like
purples.
Yeah. That's so concerning. If the sun breaks out, then
You know what's interesting? This might play with a moderate risk of flooding also. We need to talk about that real quick. We got gradient
talk about the flooding
winds and the slight to potential moderate risk of flash flooding. And this is one of the other dangers of storm chasing and Ditsy this time. Flooding. Not only do you have a threat of tornadoes that you can't see, but what if you try to escape? Let's say you're a chaser, you try an escape route. The soils are saturated. What if a tree and power line prevent that? With 40-mile gradient winds with a lot of rainfall, the soils are saturated. That's another thing you got to consider if you're going down the Ditsy to chase. That's why if you're a new person, don't chase. Not only that, I do expect the flash. I expect a flash flood watch. I really do. Especially with the HRRR now doing something like that, I do expect the flash flood watch to come out. Let me see one more time. I just want to see the evolution. It does this.
This is still very problematic, even with that MCS in Alabama.
Oh, look at that!
Okay?
Sorry, I almost lost my breath there. Look what the MCS does to the supercells in the last frame. They're digesting an outflow boundary here.
Yeah, they're growing bigger.
Oh,
that's nutty.
That is nutty. Very problematic.
And here's the new round.
Yeah, that is very problematic. Okay, Brendan, you're seeing the 0C data right now. I want to ask you something. Hold on, let me unmute Weather Kingdom for a second. Hey, first of all, Weather Kingdom, whenever he's ready. First of all, how have you been?
Hello, I'm good.
Yeah,
doing good.
You came at a pretty good time, first of all. But second of all, Brendan, what are your thoughts on this potential MCS that's going to be happening over Alabama? Do you think it'll pan out, or do you think maybe we're seeing a bit of oversaturation from the HRRR? What's your thoughts on that?
It can maybe, not to downplay it, but I think it is oversaturation from the HRRR. This isn't the first time that I've seen the HRRR do this. I'm trying to recall when I saw this. Oh, gosh, I want to say it was sometime last year, and I know it's not helpful, but there was a date. It may have been one of the setups in Chicago back in July. I don't recall, or it was a golf setup, one of the two, but it over-convected the warm front.
Okay.
And it over stratified the precipitation. So Pat, I'm sorry, I wish I could be more useful. I've seen this before as soon as last year.
Yeah.
And it ends up correcting. It ends up correcting by day one, typically. Yeah. So I wouldn't want to say necessarily it's a trash run, but I would need to see more. I think this may be.
I wouldn't necessarily say it's a trash run, because that wouldn't explain why all the other stuff is blowing up the way it is in Mississippi and Alabama.
Even if it does the morning convection, look, it just does more and more and more. You got another cell forming in the back.
Yeah, that's going to be very interesting.
Look near Mobile, Alabama. I want a sounding there. Oh, God.
Oh, man.
I have a good question for everyone.
Go ahead, Weather Kingdom.
Yeah, please.
I've been at work, and I just want a little brief of an update of everything that has happened throughout the afternoon.
I mean,
with this outbreak.
I think the main thing to summarize Weather Kingdom, I think, is just put in one word: uptrending. Uptrending for Friday, uptrending for Saturday. No, and I'm sure you'll get caught up as we continue to discuss, but I think that's the one thing to kick it off for you is we've seen everything for Friday in terms of a tornado threat uptrend, especially for Southern Illinois, Missouri, and even down towards Arkansas. And then, as we've been talking about for Saturday, an uptrend for the tornado threat, and especially more discrete supercells for Bama and Mississippi. But as we go along, we'll be sure to catch you up along the way. So
for sure.
Hey, don't forget about Florida too. Florida could be too.
Florida.
The environment is so ridiculous. You've got even the HRR showing all this convection shows that cold front line.
I mean, wow.
Oh my God.
That is some nasty. That's a nasty supercell event.
Can I be honest? I think the models are committing first-degree murder. Am I wrong about that at this point? It's in the
well, they apparently want to commit genocide more than murder.
It's 50-50 chance. It's either could go tornado outbreak or could bust.
I would say it's more 70-30.
Here's another thing y'all need to realize. All this convection is actually bad, especially when it blows up right, because guess what? Some of these cells might be stronger than expected because we have to think about mergers, constructive mergers too.
Yeah, you got merger again.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not having a good feeling about this.
We could get EF3 or 4 out of this.
Easily.
I would say that only reason why I'm going to say don't say that is because at the end of the day, that is the NWS's job if something does happen.
For sure. Yeah, we're just speculating right here.
We've had long track tornadoes in the March 2001 outbreaks that only rated EF3 lower mostly because they didn't hit a lot. Yeah. So let's be cautious about that.
Yeah, we'll be careful with that. Yoshi, you haven't talked in a while. What's your take on this, and what's your thoughts on potentially Florida getting some of this action? Since I know you like to talk about the Florida weather quite a bit.
Oh my God. Damn.
Yeah, Yoshi, go for it. Okay.
This is
we'll come back to him in a bit, but John, what are your thoughts on what you're seeing with what's going on in the South? This is crazy.
This is very concerning.
Oh yeah.
Hey, John.
Yes.
I revoke my decision. If y'all want to go cold purple, do it. This is a high, even with
this is high. John, put cold purple down.
Okay, hold on. I want to ask Brendan quick question since he's back here. How confident are you that this is going to be a high risk, and how confident are you that this is going to go out on day 2? How confident are you on that? I know he's muted, but that's inopportune. I'd like to. Hopefully, he takes care of his stuff, and we can discuss that whenever.
There is one thing I'm gonna say about storm code. I am gonna wait to issue a code purple until we get a high risk.
I think, honestly, given the circumstances, and I feel like with the coat hatched red, it was understandable given we saw all of this stuff last night. Once you get up to purple, and once you especially get to black, we need to slow down and take it by a case-by-case basis. So,
agreed.
Let's just do that. I'm getting ahead of myself too, but thank you very much. Holy crap, we have 68 people live on the stream right now. Thanks for tuning in. Like the stream, subscribe to the channel if you are new. This is the most we've had all night. So be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We are 3 subs away from 11,700. So let's go ahead and do that tonight. And also share this with your friends and family members so that way we can get the word out about this big severe weather outbreak. If you guys could, thank you very much. So, yeah, with that being said, let's go ahead and continue.
I do have a question for John real quick about the code purple and stuff. With the trends we're seeing, but you want to wait for caution, is there, and I don't know if you've done this before, is there a chance you can do like a possible hatch area saying that this area could be purple, but more data is needed? Something like that?
I might be able to do that.
Yeah, you
I'll
should
leave
do
that
that.
up to John, and if he wants to do that, if he's comfortable with that, his choice. But I think, given the circumstances, let's hold off. But I like the idea you have, Tristan.
I think I'm gonna hold off for placement reasons because it could go anyway.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Okay.
So
Yeah.
I'm probably just gonna wait for SBC and then make a decision where to put the code purple.
What are you guys' thoughts of maybe the slight and enhanced getting expanded further up to the north, especially in Indiana, Kentucky?
Yeah, I like that. I like that idea.
I think do you guys think that this is possible given the latest runs we're getting?
Yeah.
The problem
Wow.
is,
What
except for
I'm
the
looking
discrete.
at,
Go ahead, Weather Kingdom.
this has escalated quite a bit since last stream.
Yeah, no kidding.
Wow.
Is it possible for something like a 45% tornado risk on Saturday? I would say right now. What do you
worst
think?
case situation? That is like.
That's.
Hold off on that.
We'll hold off on that, but we'll see what happens.
It's not off the table.
I can't say no to that.
As of now, that's something to hold off.
Let's just say, if tomorrow and Saturday, we start seeing supercells and severe thunderstorm warnings and hook echoes looking very beautiful on radar, in the beginning of this event, I think all bets are off after that.
Yeah. Someone's asking for a sounding from East Tennessee.
Oh, can I? Let me do that. Which part of the HRRR do you want the sounding from? I can do it from.
How about near? Where's that? How about?
Where's the timing that you want?
Let's see. I want for tomorrow. Say 21. Let's take a quick gander at some of the. I want to take a quick gander at it. Let's say, it's going to be contaminated if we do it any later. But 18Z around Clarksville, I think it is. No, that's hold on. Let me check real quickly where that one city I'm looking at in particular is. Knoxville, near Knoxville, which is in East Central Tennessee. I can help you out with it, Tristan, if you need me to. Knoxville. There you go. Around there, around at 18Z. Yoshi, I just saw what you sent. Oh boy.
Is this is for Friday, right? Or the next
This is for
day?
Saturday. This should be for Saturday.
Oh,
okay.
Oops. Sorry.
18Z Saturday. Don't worry about it. There we go.
There, I got it. Hold on. People make mistakes. Oops,
don't worry about it. I'm just doing that because before the soundings get contaminated. Oh, what? Okay.
What?
Remember, that's the HRRR.
Oh, that's the herb with the overconvective stuff. It's overconvecting on that stuff. Let me take a quick gander. Check the.
Let's do another model then.
Check the
I don't
NAM.
like using the
Let's
NAM.
do NAM at 12Z morning of just to simplify it.
Nope, because it's still low.
Okay.
Normal NAM? That's loading.
Yeah.
God, all the models are very slow. It's like a driver on I-95 on a traffic jam.
Yeah. Okay. Someone's asking in chat, could I show in the map where I think the risk areas might shift by tomorrow afternoon? In terms of SPC or what? I think, based on what I'm seeing, I think the enhanced risk is going to get pushed up further to the north. Moderate risk, I don't know what's going to happen with it. It's very hard for me to dictate right now. Maybe it expands further to the east near the Alabama-Georgia border and into the Florida Panhandle some more. But I don't really have an answer to your question. With that, I'm going to defer to the Storm Prediction Center and let them make that judgment call for right now. And granted, they'll have their stuff out with they'll have their day 2 outlook out at 1 o'clock in the morning. So, yeah. But anyway, Tristan, go ahead. Did you find it?
Also, some interesting data that's coming in from the Weather Prediction Center. Now we're really starting to talk about flash flooding. Hold on, this discussion got better for flash flooding.
That's problematic.
There are areas Central Tennessee, Northwest Alabama into Mississippi, parts of Kentucky where local higher totals of 5 to 6 inches could be realized. That's a moderate risk warning.
Oh
right
yeah,
For
that's
flash flood,
moderate.
There
yeah.
it is.
For
So
flash
they're
flood.
gonna go moderate the moment they get better data. They want to go moderate.
We are don't drive,
Get some more
don't
data,
drive,
yeah.
and don't drown.
Yeah, turn
That's what I
around,
was
don't
talking
drown.
about. So remember, what do we say about flash flood warnings? Turn around, don't drown.
Yep. That's going to be very key, very critical right there.
Fire, tornado outbreak, severe weather outbreak, flooding.
A little bit of everything.
Yep.
Besides winter, so that phrase cannot be said. Winter
Well,
doesn't count.
you can make an argument for it, I guess. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we are one subscriber away from getting up to 11,700. Right,
Wow.
11,699.
Congratulations!
Let's
Pat.
go ahead and hit. If someone could please subscribe to the channel very quickly, as well as like the stream and subscribe, as well as like the stream and all that stuff, we'd really appreciate that. So
I was thinking,
You should pass 12,000.
Never mind, John. There is winter weather in the Rockies and the system. There is a little bit of
Oh,
everything.
there's no Rockies.
I told you so.
There's a little blizzard.
we hit
you
it.
know,
We hit
in
it.
the
We hit it.
plane.
We're at 11,700. Thank you very much.
We got breaking news.
Thank you, everybody.
We got breaking news. Weather
What's-
Prediction Center map data goes out to the evening of Saturday.
Oh,
what is it?
I want to watch this. So here's 18Z. Dry front here, cold front. There's an arcing warm front here. It makes sense for this.
I'll go ahead and
Here it
share the
is.
screen
Here's
for
your
what we're
an occluded front. That's interesting.
Okay.
The cold front slows down. Dry line is still over here. 12Z Saturday.
Oh,
there's two fronts.
Oh,
Here's what's concerning though. This is where I get very concerned.
Mm-hmm.
This right here.
Yep.
whoa.
That low right there. That is what concerns me.
yeah.
That's going to
That
enhance
was-
your low level shear.
Look at all Alabama.
Here's the parts of Florida.
Yeah, Florida Panhandle. I think they're going to put expand the moderate to the Florida Panhandle. To be honest, given
Yeah.
what we're
What
seeing.
is this thing, by the way? Thunderstorm likely is or is severe. Okay, that's not fun.
That's severe likely, by the way.
And Florida's been introduced in that.
Yeah.
We're talking about Florida a bit. The Weather Prediction Center seems to think the cold front could leave some the remnants of those storms to do some interesting things. So we'll
Yeah.
see. And then 12Z, it goes up. Why is there a small risk outside the Florida coast near the Bahamas? I'm not going to question that, but
That's
Maybe
pretty
the
nasty.
tropics want to come back. You never know.
that is nasty. Maybe the low pressure wants to do a free 60 and do it all over again. Please no.
Oh no,
Under
360.
Okay. Anyway, though, thanks for showing that, Tristan. We really appreciate that.
That does prove to me, Pat, that what I was thinking was confirmed. The cold front is not going to speed through. It briefly speeds through for y'all risk, but then it slows down immensely.
All right, John, you sent me the new storm code. Do you want me to share it to the audience?
Yeah, if you want to.
All right, let's go ahead and send it in. So here is
This
our
is-
new storm code issued by John. We have 3 code reds. 1 for fire risk, 2 for severe weather. We have a code orange for fire risk and for a hatched orange for severe weather. A lot of code yellow. We'll go over this very quickly. The code yellow is for those in a slight risk and or of elevated risk for fire.
Oh damn, I'm in
right
that
here.
too.
Yeah, you're in the slight risk for severe weather kingdom.
I'm in code yellow.
That's for never mind. Yeah, that's for day 4 though. So that's 15% equivalent to a slight for that. Then we have the hatched yellow, which is 15% significantly significant right here, 15 sig for winds, I believe, or right here for parts of Iowa, Missouri, and the outskirts. The hatched code orange is the enhanced risk general area.
You mean red?
That's for the 10% sig Tor parameter in general. The regular code red is for the moderate risk for tomorrow. But then if you move on to the deep south, we have a hatched code red in effect right now because of the moderate risk and 45% significant severe weather tag that's on that for parts of the deep south on Saturday. Someone else just sent me something in live stream stage. Oh, David's on. David wants to come on.
David,
We're fine with that. We like
David's
David.
on.
we're fine with that.
Hey,
Put David
do we
on.
want to invite? Do we want to invite Wobble Tricks on? Since I know
Yeah,
he's from
put-
Tennessee. Since he's
Put David on.
Yeah, I would love to get. I would love to.
I know he's from Tennessee, so he's going to be in the line of fire. I'll have both these guys on. David, David, you can come on whenever you're ready.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey,
Hey, what's
you are
up,
on the
David?
air with Front Storms United on the Pat's Path Predictor channel. How are you?
I'm good. How about y'all?
I'm doing pretty good.
I'm doing good. Real quick before David talks, Thunder, I have a question.
David.
Yo, what's up?
Go ahead.
What's up?
Go ahead.
What are you doing to prepare for this event? Because I know we've been talking about this for a few days. You're now in the part of the bullseye.
Well, we do have an interior room, which is good. You always need to have that in your homes.
Yes.
People, if you I obviously have an interior room. So basically, what I did is that tomorrow I'm gonna be up all night tomorrow. So I'm gonna definitely have to get some rest here in a little bit. But
sure.
Once the stream ends, obviously. But I'm gonna put my pillows by my door, so I'll be all ready. So, because use pillows to cover your body. And we also got a first aid kit together and a plan to get down in the interior room.
I mean, this is bad.
And I know you have a no-water radio, right? If I'm correct, so you'll be able to be.
And I got a handheld just now too. I got it today.
Brilliant.
Handheld. It's actually a hand radio.
That's good.
It's a BOA thing.
Yeah, you can transmit on it, but I'll never do that. Never. I never.
Yeah.
When I'm on the NOAA weather, this thing transmits. It's like a ham radio, but basically when I'm basically what happens is that if I transmit on this thing, it'll transmit to all NOAA weather radios, and I do not want to do that. So I'm never gonna press the transmit button.
Yeah. Unless you see something, unless you're doing a storm report, I'm guessing.
Not on a NOAA weather radio.
Not
no.
even a storm
I have the
report.
storm spotter license, so. But all I can say is, guys, if you do get under a tornado warning this weekend, make sure to get on the interior room on the lowest floor of the building. Make sure you got your plan together. Get your pillows. Get your loved ones, your dogs. And if you have a basement, go down there. But if you do not have a basement, get into the most interior room you can possibly can. And if you're outside, make sure to seek a shelter immediately.
For sure. Thank you very much, man.
Hey.
David, you're
Yes,
on
sir.
the air. How are you?
Yes, I'm doing good. Can I share my screen if you don't mind? Because I can't share my screen.
Yeah, Tristan, go for it.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go for it, David. Go for it. We'll go ahead and present it on the stream.
Yeah, I cannot. Well, I can't because it won't. Oh wait.
No, you're
there
good
we
now.
go.
You're good now. Tristan just removed it.
You're good now.
Yep. Go. You're good now. All right,
Okay.
David. What do you have for us?
So, the NAM is coming in. We'll see if that uptrends, but I'm telling you right now, if the NAM, even if it stays as intense as it does, like the last model run, I think they're going to go high. And I have talked to Ethan B. I've been talking to him back and forth today about this, and he's even agreeing with me. If models hang on at the 0Z, because the SPC is going to really look at that 0Z or most of the guidance, and I'm not kidding. If this stays as intense with the amount of shear, the amount of instability, I think they're going to probably pull a high risk. I'm not kidding when I say that. The HRRR, we're waiting for that to come in.
0Z HRRR is in.
Yes.
Oh, it is. Let's see what it looks like.
Oh, it's bad.
It's pretty interesting. If you take
bad,
a look at
but I want to
gnarly.
Yeah.
I don't think it doesn't look as significant as the latest run. Man, it's close. It is really close. I mean, it's borderline high, I would say, at this point. But we'll see what the NAM shows, because the NAM is going to be very critical. But I'll tell you what right now, and I even pointed this out in my live stream. There is a fire weather outbreak. I have not heard of that wording before from the SPC, so the winds are going to be strong for sure. I looked at some webcams already earlier today with like about an hour ago. There's already blowing dust being reported in Santa Fe and in Roswell already. Winds are gusting over 50 miles an hour in that area from the southwest. So it's coming into that area. And if we actually bring up my storm app here, you guys can see that, right?
Yep, we got it.
All right. This is loading. My favorite app that I like to use. So you can see where it's really windy. But if we kind of come down in here, calling for 46 sustained winds. That's pretty strong. Let's go over here. 46. We're also looking at Clovis, New Mexico, 48 miles an hour. And this app is pretty generous when it comes to the wind forecast. It looks at an average based on most models, and we're looking at 48 to 52 mile an hour sustained with gusts over 80 to even close to 90 miles an hour.
Wow.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's looking pretty serious, but we'll see if it looks even more serious when the NAM comes out as far as the severe weather goes. I didn't have really not much to talk about, really, just, but I just wanted to interject that we're going to really keep an eye on our models. And I wish I was able to bring up soundings on my iPad, but my iPad doesn't allow me to bring up soundings. But I did look at a couple of soundings, actually. You know what? Let me go over to Discord here really quickly.
Uh-huh.
Ethan
I
B.
was gonna say,
Yo, David,
I'm sorry,
I want
David.
to ask you: is Ethan B available right now?
Oh
Yeah.
no, he's not going to be available until about 9:30 tonight.
Oh,
I already told him we're probably gonna me and him, if you want to participate in that, because he's not available until 9:30, and I won't be home from church until about 9-ish or so.
sure.
But we're gonna have like a 2 to maybe 3 hour conversation tonight, and it's gonna be a really formal meeting about how significant this is gonna get. I'm even gonna make an outlook, an
Is this going to be
SPC outlook.
on stream, or is this private?
This is well, it's not gonna be on stream on YouTube.
Okay.
No, I'm not
I
gonna
just want to make
stream on.
sure.
Is this
No,
gonna be on Discord
this is
stream?
It'll be on Discord.
we could probably make it happen on Discord. Actually, not in a Discord server. We'll probably just like a group call, maybe
Sure.
you like. I could pick out the people that want to be in that conversation for you. Sure, Pat, you'll be there, and I'll pick out a couple of other people. But I just don't want, because I really wanted to dedicate a lot of the time between me and Ethan to talk about this.
Oh, sure.
But
yeah, of course.
I'll
For
invite
sure.
a couple of people though to it, if he's up to doing it. But I wanted to.
Here's
This
your
is
sounding.
of course, yeah. This is contaminated. I showed Ethan this. This is pretty well contaminated. But it gives us a potential outline with what we could be dealing with here. I mean, that photograph. I mean, this is like. I mean, I don't know how more significant you can get than that. I mean, the question is, where are all of our lines at? We only have the purple line here, other than a little bit of blue there on the far right side of the image. But like, look at the storm slinky. These winds are just. This is just.
Yeah, that SRH is way overdoing it, I will say. And
Yeah,
there was that
I would
wind
say.
here.
But this is what Ethan pulled up. This looks to be off of Pivotal Weather. From Pivotal Weather. He's even saying there's a pretty good chance that this ends up as a high risk on Saturday. And this is coming from a severe weather expert that's been doing this for over 15 years. Storm chasing.
Wow.
He watches even Cameron Nixon that specializes in photographs.
I know Cameron Nixon. I know him, actually.
So Ethan B knows his stuff, okay? He knows literally everything about soundings and photographs. So when the fact is, when he pulls up a sounding that is not contaminated at all, and it shows this with a curved slinky backward C, this warrants intense violent tornadoes.
Could you
I'm
show
not
that
saying,
again? Could you show that and
Yeah,
zoom in a
Keisha,
little bit?
yeah.
yeah, right there.
Could you zoom into the shear? I want to take a quick look at it.
Yeah.
The
Oh my
sheer.
goodness. Okay, that's
Oh,
49
Wow.
at one.
yeah, that's high.
Yeah, that SRH and that shear is pretty bad. Ooh.
Yeah, I
Gee.
looked at a broad swath, Pat, and for everyone that's watching this stream, I looked at a broad swath of 0 to 1 kilometer SRH in the Louisiana, Mississippi area, around about 475 to 550 meters squared per second squared, combined with instability or thunderstorm juice, I should say in this case, right around 2,000 to 2,500 joules, with effective bulk shear magnitudes over 80 to 90 knots. That combined with any supercell that develops in the environment, we could have intense to violent tornadoes.
Oh, absolutely.
At least one violent tornado. At least one. I don't like overdoing things, but I'm telling you, I mean, the shear, the thermos, and the kinematics are extremely favorable. It's not like one versus the other. No. In typical busts or whatever, you'll have like, oh, your kinematics look good, but your thermals don't look entirely well. So this is a bit more uncertain. But in this case, our thermals look good, so do our kinematics. And that is going to be the reason why I think the SPC is going to go, I mean, it's going to be a testimony on do they go high or not. If I went high, I would go high over Jackson, Mississippi, and just a little southward, like a small high risk. Let me actually kind of paint that out here. You know what? Let me bring up the SPC here and just kind of
All right, I'll go ahead and share that over
Yeah,
to you.
I was looking at parts 4 to 2.
Real quick, David, I just want to let you know you are not crazy. Even James Spann, someone who is conservative and is famous for his tornado outbreak coverages, mentioned a few long track violent tornadoes.
Yes, he did.
He said that.
Yes, he
I'm
did.
not gonna lie.
Holy cow.
All right.
What?
Well,
So
go
let
ahead,
me.
Kingdom. Oh, sorry, David.
So where I think this high risk will be is it's going to be in this area right in here. That's where I think we will.
Yeah,
Actually, you know what? That might be. You know what? Let me go a little. So
Probably
I
a little
think.
bigger.
Yeah,
make
that's
it a
what
little
I'm.
bit bigger.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
I think the enhanced will be extended. The moderate could be extended, and then if they do
Yeah.
go high, it'll be a little bigger.
I would
Yes,
do the horse.
so-
I would do the
I might.
red.
Hey, sorry.
Go ahead,
okay.
go ahead, David.
Yeah. So we're the moderate. Oh my goodness, this pin. Okay, let me get something a little bit more better than just a stinking little. Hold on.
No worries.
Yeah, this is the Apple. This is the iPad version of drawing. So yeah. So this
Better
is
than
where. Yeah, this should be good enough. All right. So the moderate risk is going to go probably down here, and it's going to expand just a little bit. I think the cutoff point with eastward extent is pretty good with what the SPC shows, and I don't think it's going to get extended much further north. And then when we go to the high risk area, I think the high risk, based on best dynamics and everything, will probably be right over in here is where I think. I don't think that's going to get too far north just because that's a little bit uncertain on the extent, because there is going to be a very sharp gradient cutoff on where the best instability shear comes together. All right, because the warm sector is going to, of course, be the area that we have to watch for violent tornadoes.
Yes.
So therefore, I think the best chances for a violent tornado will be in central, southern Mississippi, and far western Alabama. But I don't think they're going to go high like into northern Alabama. I don't think that's going to happen. But let's actually look at, hold on, let's actually look at
the NAM.
I want to see the H triple R with its simulated reflectivity to see if that, oops, come on, cooperate with me. Let's see. Oh, this is your Z. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were looking at that earlier.
They're going high, dude.
I'm not liking that. I'm not
There
liking
is
that.
You have to consider that MCS beforehand may be over convection, so it might be worse than it's showing.
Yeah.
What do you mean? What do you mean at MCS?
That MCS right there, that might be over convection.
In
What I
Alabama,
was
yes.
expecting it, if any chance of an MCS was going to occur, we talked about it before the new model runs. It was going to be around where Memphis, Tennessee was. It was going to be kind of like that northwestern MCS. It glances the warm sector. It was going to prove an outflow boundary to help supercells. In this case, the MCS kind of contaminates the warm sector for a little bit, but then that southwestern shortwave still goes in and it still produces. And there's even outflow boundaries if you look at the helicity carefully. Potentially, yeah, you see that little corridor in Mississippi to Alabama. That's outflow boundaries from the MCS. Is this a perfect solution? I don't know because we don't know what the warm sector MCS is going to do. But that still shows basically a high in a way.
Yeah.
So
Sorry, I have to go here in like 5 minutes because I have church and stuff.
Yeah,
I won't try to interrupt this whole, your guys' conversation with the stream.
We're happy
but
you're here, man. You're contributing.
Oh yeah, thanks.
Thanks. Thanks. So based on the updraft helicity swaths, intense long tracked supercells are a given. Okay, the kidney bean shaped storms on this. I mean, let's go over to again simulated reflectivity. I mean, how many you can not get any more supercells than this? I mean, there could be almost too many here that could interact with one another, and we could have more of a short-lived tornado threat, but they're intense as at the same time. So it's gonna be a matter of how many supercells do we get, and do all those supercells produce those intense to violent tornadoes? But given the aspect to this kidney bean shaped storms in an extremely sheared environment, kinematics are extremely intense on top of thermodynamics that are fairly robust. I mean, I am honestly, in a relative sense, I would put Friday as an enhanced risk while it's moderate. I know we're going to have some extreme wind damage, but the size, the magnitude of this on Saturday puts Friday's moderate risk to an enhanced risk. And like Saturday really takes a show with a big, massive, not really a big, massive, it's going to be a regional area, but like it's going to be a substantial, prolific, severe outbreak of severe weather with tornadoes. And I will tell you what, I'm sure we will have numerous tornadoes, several strong tornadoes, a few intense tornadoes.
Absolutely.
And at least one violent tornado, at least one long track.
I agree with that.
Yeah. Hey, David, I just want you to clarify something for me. Are you saying that the moderate for tomorrow should be enhanced, or are you saying that because the event on Saturday is going to be so big and so is so intense that comparing that would but that by comparison Friday would be an enhanced compared to what we're seeing on Saturday?
Yeah, in relative sense, yeah. So it's kind of like the exposure, like like exposing different colors or brightness. Like if you make a room, like let's just say this. So outside right now, where I'm sitting, it's a little bright. But if I turned on all the lights in this room, it would look dark outside, but it's not.
Okay.
It's just so it basically makes Friday look darker and Saturday has the bigger spotlight. No, I'm not saying Friday is an enhanced. No, Friday is going to be pretty significant.
Okay.
Damaging winds, fire weather conditions, you name it. It is going to be a pretty serious severe weather outbreak on Friday. But when it comes down to tornadoes and damaging winds on the Saturday timeframe, Saturday is going to take the cake. Saturday is going to grab more attention than Friday in itself. Not
Okay.
that Friday is not as important.
Sure.
So that's that. And the NAM is coming in, and oh my.
Is it? Oh, it's.
Hold on. I need to see this myself.
This
Oh
is
my.
bad. This is
Yeah,
bad.
let's see. Confluence band heaven.
Let me. Let me take a quick gander.
Oh gosh, this is. Oh, they're going high.
I do have a question
They're
for
going
anybody
high.
in
Oh
here.
my god.
What's
Wait, I don't see it.
Look at the stream.
Wait, there it is. Never mind. Oh my god.
I'm pulling that up on the NAMNAS.
Okay, so let's look at the previous run. However, the northern extent is a little more uncertain. 0Z further south, but look, it's still in this area again, central Mississippi southward.
Yeah.
Wow. Look at that SIG-4 print.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Oh, look at that white stuff.
Supercell
Can we look
composite
at the
around
reflectivity?
24. SIG-4 really exploded. What were we at 18C?
Yeah.
Oh, it really exploded, and it's a lot more concentrated compared to what we were seeing previously. I'm looking at the simulated reflectivity.
Yes, please look at the reflectivity. Is that an unorganized MCS like I thought would happen, and then you got confluence band to the south?
It looks like it initially, and then you start seeing the supercell start to organize around 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was
Look,
concerned
and
about
also
this.
look at the helicity swaths as well. That's going to be the thing.
All right,
so
David.
Zero.
Oh my god.
All right. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, David. Then I'll ask you a quick question before you go.
How does this keep getting worse? That's my question. This makes no sense.
Yo, Rockets is here.
Yeah,
how are you doing?
Hey, Rockets.
Good. I was just freaking out.
First of all, what the heck is going on in Southern Illinois tomorrow?
I'm a little cooked. I'll be honest.
Yes.
We might be a little cooked. We might be a little cooked.
Okay, just try to relax a little bit. David, I'm sorry. Please continue.
Oh my gosh.
So based on my
I was trying to
estimations,
ask a question.
Oh, go for it.
And based on I have to go in like 4 or 5 minutes, okay?
Sure, go
so significant tornado perimeters are anywhere between a 10 to a 16 tomorrow in central Mississippi.
That is very problematic.
Yeah.
On top of that, supercell composite parameters are between a 20 and a 25. Not as high as they were on the last model run, but of course, actually, no, they're about as high. So, dude, this is not
Can
good.
y'all look at No Mic real quick? I posted some images from the FV3, and it's agreeing with the other models as well as Pat. We talked about this.
I'm taking a quick look. Sorry,
MCS
John
to
was
the
just
northwest,
talking about something.
helping the supercells central and southern. This model is showing it too.
What model?
FV3.
Oh gosh, not that.
It's showing an
What is that?
MCS to the northwest.
Oh yeah.
Wait a minute. Okay,
Oh
hold on. Time out.
That's
Tristan,
Outbreak.
you explain it. What you're looking at very quickly, and then we'll figure out who else wants to talk. I know David has to leave very soon, so I want to give him as much opportunity to
I have a
as he
question
can.
after this.
So Pat and I were talking about 5 days ago. It was the first time I said I'm concerned about an MCS going to the northwest with that low.
Yeah.
And it would help supercells to the south.
Okay.
Not only did the NAM briefly show it, not only did the HRRR show it, the FB3 is showing it. So that tells me that I don't know how to feel about this. Should I be
I'm concerned.
It's weird. You know what I mean? It feels weird. Saying something 5 days ago that's occurring now. Go ahead, David. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I have like 3 minutes or 2 or so minutes. Okay, important news. The latest FV3 has numerous widespread discrete supercell activity from northwestern Louisiana into Mississippi and northwestern Alabama. Right kind of where that high risk, central Mississippi is where that high risk is more likely going to be initiated.
Yes.
Let's go and zoom in a little bit for the deep south. Look at how many supercells. Look at this.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
This is gonna be bad.
Oh my god.
this could be bad for people
Wait,
at
let
night.
me look. Sorry,
And
just
this
checking.
is the in.
Oh,
this is
okay.
the
That's
NTDP.
an issue. That's an issue. That's an issue. Sorry, go
On
ahead.
top of that, your surface winds are coming in and out of the south at about 25 to 35 miles an hour. Let me see if we
That's
have the WRF
moisture
model.
infection.
Yeah, WRF model. Let's see. Okay, the WRF model is just coming in. Let me look at the 12Z. That is showing. Nope, not there
that
yet.
Go too far out.
Yeah. Let me see this on a better perspective on Weather Bell. Let's see. Yeah, these are a lot of kidney bean shaped storms here.
That's the her.
Mother crap.
See, and look at the
That's
thing
over,
is
that
it
even looks
never
impressive over in my area.
Yeah.
and the thing is this never
my
grows
God.
upscale. This never grows upscale into a linear line. It stays broken up and just kind of loose.
Yo, David, sorry to
Yeah.
interrupt, but someone in chat just said the day after tomorrow.
Oh my
I'm
goodness.
just
Oh,
thinking
no.
about that.
If you guys remember that
Don't
movie.
say it.
Which by the
yeah.
way,
Oh my gosh.
which by the way, the significant tornado parameter, this I
It's
know
off
this is not
charts.
the fixed value. Look at Alabama. 15
Oh,
to
yeah.
20.
I'm concerned about Alabama.
But
Dang.
y'all
Alabama is
Hold up,
concerning
time
me.
out. That's the 0Z.
I think they might be cooked.
That's
I gotta look
0Z.
at
Yep.
this. I gotta look at this on COD.
Oh my gosh.
Oh wow.
I think they might be just a little cooked.
That,
And
that
David,
is
you
so
know what's interesting about that? The humidity is a good thing. I said there would be a thermal boundary around Mississippi into Alabama. That's what the moisture is also showing. So I'm curious to see if some of that convection creates a thermal boundary to help the supercells more during the day.
Y'all,
Yeah.
I have to say this though. The normal, okay, you know.
Okay, I gotta go. I gotta go.
All right, David.
Hi, David.
All right,
Really quickly though. They this did trend stronger for Alabama with the significant tornado parameter, so they might extend the moderate a little further east, say
Okay.
into eastern Alabama.
All right.
Yes.
For sure.
Yep.
David, one quick question.
Yes.
Will there be do you think that in your opinion there will be a day 2 high risk?
There is a slim
Yes.
possibility. I'm going to talk about it with Ethan tonight, and I'm going to
All right.
issue my outlook. If you want to be part of that conversation tonight,
right.
Pat, around 9:30, you are more than happy
All right,
to.
hit me up about that. All right, I know you got to go. Have a good time at Mass, and may God be with you. All right, so who wants to go next? Who needs
Me.
All right, Rockets, you go ahead. You have talked a lot.
Yes, sorry. I'm mind blown that the HRR did that. But I would like to say the normal NAM has been like since yesterday showing discrete supercells in on the border of Mississippi to Alabama. It's been since yesterday 00Z in the primest environment.
Yes, we have seen.
I'm sorry, but this is bad.
This is a very problematic.
This is looking like the day after tomorrow. I mean, I don't know, but
I'm not even joking. When I saw that,
people are aware.
Sorry.
Go for it. Go. Sorry. Go.
But when I saw that, I just want to go back to HRR because I thought it was over. That air mask is something I have never seen before. Because I wasn't born when 27th. You know, I was born.
Okay.
But I was very little.
Sure.
I've not seen that on the model runs before. Mind blown. Just
yeah,
wow.
That's crazy. Just
wow.
I know you're a little flustered right now, Rockets. I can understand why because you're in the epicenter of stuff. The her in Southern Illinois and in St. Louis. Let's just say that it's a little interesting, and if that verifies, I hope my power stays on so I can stream on Saturday. So that's all I'm going to say about that.
Wait, Pat, where do you live again?
St. Louis.
I live outside of St. Louis.
St. Louis, yeah.
What are they in? The moderate or what?
We're in the epicenter of the moderate, dog.
Wait.
Oh no.
Yeah, we could.
That could be not good.
I can see Infinity Sig.
Wait, let me look at this on
I can see the moisture.
Wait, what day?
It's
tomorrow, day 2.
Tornado chasing.
STL gang, let's go. Oh, I need to grab something. You guys keep talking.
Moisture has trended so freaking much.
Where's St. Louis?
I do have a question.
Where's St. Louis? Look it up.
Thunder was waiting. patiently. He had a question. Go ahead, Thunder.
Go ahead and take a look at the stream real quick. I just came back.
I had a question.
Yeah.
What's y'all's opinion on what's going to happen in the Nashville area?
In Nashville? Oh, that's a good question.
Nashville, it depends because there are. On the one hand, you do get a lot of rain convection that might cool down part of your environment. On the other hand, the moment that mass moves up, it has some supercells on the bottom of it or some little kinks I'm seeing. So honestly, I would just pay attention, Thunder. Your biggest threat would be, I would say, it's tornadoes, but I think at least in Tennessee, flooding seems to be an equal threat because of that mass
I agree.
showing.
Yep.
I have a question.
And damaging winds, obviously.
Some damaging winds depending on the mesoscale of the sector. Yes, I agree. Yes.
Are you in
Maybe
Missouri?
No, I'm in
Missouri.
He's talking about me. He's talking about me. I'm not going to say exactly where I'm at, but I live around St. Louis. But go ahead.
So
go ahead.
Missouri, right?
St. Louis is Missouri, yeah. But go ahead,
Give me a sec.
Tristan or Wobble Tricks or whoever.
Oh, I already said what I had to say.
Hold on, I am setting this up because I want to do a thought experiment on the trend. I want to compare free models side by side.
FV3.
RF free, NAM kilometer, and the HRRR. And I want to see similarities and differences.
The
So let's not freak
FV3
out because we need to discuss this because even though they're agreeing on a situation, where that situation is still a little questionable, right?
Yeah.
So let's look at each model run very carefully. The FV3, we're gonna go back in time. Some storms and so it starts out with some supercells in the morning.
Yeah.
Okay, it's outflow boundary, a brief MCS, and then boom, you get supercells to the south. Yes,
Yeah.
okay.
Yes, Southern Florida.
HRRR, what do you show? MCS forms in the middle of Alabama, but still goes to the north right when supercells occur. What does NAM show? Outflow boundary, MCS in the north? Yes. And then, so they all agree on the MCS
Yeah, they're
in the
all
north.
agreeing with
That's
supercells.
interesting. They all agree on a MCS in the north. And I'm very curious to see, are all the models saying that there will be an unorganized MCS to the north that helps confluence bands to the south? Let's rewind it one more time. And I want to see if all the models show that. They do. Very interesting mesoscale. Look carefully. All of them become MCS in the north, and look what it does to Alabama and Mississippi. Confluence below that.
Okay, we got a question from chat. What is worse, PDS Tor or emergency? Definitely a tornado emergency is worse.
Yeah, tornado emergency.
Yeah.
Tornado emergency. However, I would say that they could both be equal because PDS, tornado, and Tor E are basically the same thing except for population. Or if it's a direct hit.
You
So
could say that.
you can have PDS
Tor E is
cores that
definitely
act like.
impacting a populated area. That's for
You
sure.
have a good question.
Well, not all the
Well,
time, but basically, Tori and PDS can be the same thing. It just depends on the area. So
Yeah.
Do you think New York City? I know this is a little bit out, but do you ever see New York City getting a tornado emergency?
Under the right circumstances.
Or you
And it
think
would
that's
depend
just
on
not
whether
possible?
it was impacting Manhattan or Staten Island.
We're talking about like directly in New York City.
New York City is five.
I mean,
is
if it
five
does,
counties, Weather Kingdom.
Okay, we're talking about like Brooklyn area.
I hope not. But
I can't
Yeah,
say
I
zero,
hope.
but the East Coast is so rare. If it does,
that's such a rare scenario anyway.
Yeah, that's rare.
What was that high risk in the Northeast? One of the only high risks to occur in the Northeast. I can't remember that
Was
year.
it 1998 with Pennsylvania?
Yeah, I think
If
it
did a
was.
situation like that, but more eastward, that would be your mostly your only potential of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you never know. Though we might have not seen a setup that can threaten New York City yet. We may just need to learn it. It may come eventually. Maybe we don't have it in the record books.
This is still very concerning for me to look at with everything that we are seeing.
I hope
yeah,
I do.
it is
I
very-
hope I don't lose power on Sunday too.
Oh yeah, because Maryland's going to be in the line of fire. Yours is more straight line winds. I wouldn't be too worried about it unless where you're at, like the power infrastructure is trash. I would say.
Yeah, it is. We have power lines above ground.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't be too worried about that, but yeah, especially compared to what we're seeing in the Midwest and in the South.
All right, let's see, because what I'm doing right now is I'm now checking the MBOT for discussions from the National Weather Service offices about Friday and Saturday. So I'm starting to look at these. I want to see if they say anything. Some scattered supercells overnight. There might be a capping version aloft. So that's Friday. Saturday is clearly a day with the greatest concern as strong ascent, strong deep layer shear, and very favorable thermodynamics, and what will be initially a capped air mass. That's a red flag already. Will support development of scattered supercells capable of producing strong, long-track tornadoes, damaging winds, and large hail.
Okay.
The timing's a little iffy. There is a convective preset that develops around mid-morning, a barrage of it. So they're also looking at what seems to be a unorganized convection mass / MCS forming above there. So they are highlighting that too, which is also confirming our. So we're more confident in the mesoscale if they keep trending this way. I do think the HRRRs is a little bit iffy. In terms of forming in central Alabama and moving north, I think it's going to be more of you get those somewhat discrete supercells, maybe, or a little bit of a convective mass from Friday night. It trains over the area, and then Saturday it helps outflow boundaries, and then you'll get the explosion. A lot of models have been trending that. I think that unless something changes, I think that's a pretty good guess of what might happen.
All right. While you're sorry to apologize, Tristan, but we have a couple questions.
Go ahead. I talk too much.
Number one, does Tallahassee have any tornado threat, or is it mostly wind driven? You're going to be up there during this. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at this. I'm hoping it's more of a wind threat, but based on the recent runs, it looks like it's an increasingly more discrete or semi-discrete threat for Tallahassee. But I think for right now, until we get more data, it's going to be more wind-driven. But there is an increasing chance of this being semi-discrete and you getting more of a tornado risk. Just tuning in, I'm sorry, what's Carbondale, Illinois looking like tomorrow? Oh boy, Carbondale. Hey, Rockets, that's in your neck of the woods.
That's in my neck of the woods, yeah. That's in my neck of the woods.
Carbondale looks like they're getting discrete stuff. It looks like to me that your greatest threat is actually going to be tornadoes and large hail, because the squall stuff is pushed further and further to the north to the point where Wisconsin, like much of Wisconsin, like Madison and Milwaukee, are going to see the squall stuff. Whereas areas like St. Louis South are going to be more discrete or semi-discrete. Carbondale, your main risk, at least according to these new runs, is tornadoes and hail. We'll keep you updated. What do you think Jonesboro, Arkansas will see? Any severe storms for Friday? Yes, absolutely they will in Jonesboro. Let me go ahead and pull this up for you.
Definitely a
and in Jonesboro, it's actually going to be discrete, it seems. Actually, hold up. Yeah, it's going to, if anything happens, it's going to be discrete for Friday in Jonesboro. So thank you for the question. What's up?
Remember what we were talking about earlier?
Yeah.
I want you to read this because this just confirms what we've been saying.
What do you got?
Give me a second. From the Huntsville, Alabama, NWS and No Mike.
Yeah.
Let me go ahead and read it out. One thing is more certain. Convection will be more widespread Saturday morning into the midday hours across northern Mississippi to northern Alabama and Tennessee as the next wave starts to amplify UVVs and deeper low-level moisture underruns the capping inversion, leading to the rapid development and expansion of storms. Again, all modes of severe weather will be likely, including tornadoes. The models indicate some potential for a break during the afternoon as the morning activity lifts rapidly northward into the next jet max rounds the base of the trough digging into the deep south. Given even modest heating in advance of this, additional supercells will develop in western Tennessee through Mississippi that will rapidly move northeast into Alabama and Middle Tennessee during the evening hours. Again, parameters are all favorable for tornadic supercells. There are some indications that supercells may be more embedded within an intense QLCS over Tennessee into northwest Alabama, with isolated supercells further south into Alabama. In either case, the risk of severe weather is heightened with intense shear due to the increasing low-level jets Saturday evening. The line of thunderstorms will shift east during the late evening hours, likely exiting our eastern counties from 6 to 9Z. Heavy and possibly excessive rain due to the echo training remains a concern, so we will monitor this closely. That is very
just
concerning.
Confirmed what we've been saying and what the models have been hinting.
Yep. And
that
is
means
that is bad
and that
news
also
bears.
confirms flash flooding will be a problem. So I'm glad they mentioned it too.
Yeah, it's a huge problem. Okay.
That's
yeah. The models don't look like they form stuff over northeastern Arkansas. Do you think that'll be the case? That's for tomorrow night. Let me take a quick gander at this. We have that. The wrap. Interestingly, they don't develop that much over Jonesboro. It looks like they get potentially dodge a bullet. The NAM, not as much. It's more squally. But then again, it's the NAM and not the best. The NAM nest is more discreet. You guys look like you could get something from this. If anything does form over Arkansas, it's going to be discreet. But if it doesn't, that means the Deep South is going to be in a lot more trouble. That's all I'm going to say about it. And as for the next question about Melville, Missouri, you're in the same boat as I am. We're looking at semi-discrete stuff. So, yeah, pretty interesting. So, yeah.
Oh my, this is pretty bad.
Yeah, this is
I like this
bad all around. John, what are you haven't talked too much over the last little while.
Quick question.
What's up?
Quick thing I want to say too, and I'm noticing. Going into, Georgia, the FV3 has supercells in Georgia.
Oh, like late in the night?
Oh.
That is problematic. Because you know what, that puts more of population centers in the line of fire. I believe Columbus would be in the line of fire. The Atlanta metro area would be in the line of fire. A lot of very poor areas, especially in South Georgia, would be in the line of fire as well. Areas that were impacted by Hurricane Helene could be in the line of fire if that's the case. And
hey, Pat.
What's up?
I'm actually gonna go because I for two things. I didn't know we were going live tonight, to be honest with you. I didn't see your live stream immediately pop up after the video. So I just assumed no live stream. And secondly, my friend was planning on playing with me.
Don't worry about it. You did great tonight. We appreciate it. We have had a lot of people come in and out. So we really appreciate a lot of help. Thank you.
I would say another thing too is I think the Northeast and the Mid-Atlantic, on Sunday.
I'm gonna go.
All right,
or later Saturday. All right, adios.
See ya.
I think, day what would it be? Day 3 or day 4, I mean. That could be an enhanced risk too.
I agree 100%.
And I think we can have squally conditions. I think the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic, or at least the Mid-Atlantic, can have their first
I made a
severe weather outbreak.
Should I be worried about it if I get tornadoes and stuff?
I would say more of a
wind
driven. Yeah.
Yeah.
Since
I don't think the Northeast is ready for it.
We had a windstorm earlier, and we lost power for a second, and it came back on. So
yeah, that was that's interesting.
But I will love to say,
go ahead.
Things have really escalated. With me looking at the data and everything, I mean, this could be a tornado outbreak that we're gonna remember at the end of this tornado season.
Absolutely.
And I think this is gonna be the one to kick off the season. And it's pretty early, I feel. And March. I mean,
yeah,
April, May, June.
well, March, yeah.
Yeah.
What's up, Sonny?
Yeah, I think this could top off the 2014 tornado outbreak.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Tristan, did you want to say anything very quickly? I want John to give his take on everything.
Let John go first because sometimes I talk too much respectfully.
Okay,
And then,
that's fine. John, go for it. What are your thoughts on everything you're seeing?
Anybody in the risk area, whether that's fire weather, severe weather, winter weather, high winds, you need to keep an eye on this closely.
Yes.
Refer to your local weather service office for the latest updates.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be an active next couple of days, so
Absolutely.
please be weather aware if you are in the line of fire for any threats, pretty much.
Yeah. Next question. What about Nashville on Saturday? That's a little iffy because of this potential MCS that's developing over there. Although I will say, if this MCS doesn't develop the way it does, I would be more concerned for you than not. But we'll have to see how it evolves. That's one of those areas of uncertainty. We'll keep you updated on that. What do I think about Godfrey? Godfrey is going to look. We're looking at semi-discrete stuff. I'm just giving you a heads up very quickly. Tristan, go for it.
So, the reason why the models may have been really being aggressive is we're going to look at the satellite here, and we noticed something already spinning. It just started its life, and
On
it's
satellite?
already beginning that spin in parts of the Rockies right here.
Oh,
that's it.
I'm looking at it.
So it's already beginning. We can see that southwesterly flow already entering the southern United States. This shortwave is starting to go away, and we can see the moisture starting to go north. We can look at that flow, and it's about to race up to the north, and this matches perfectly with what we're seeing on the SPC analysis here.
Yeah.
A very beautiful negatively tilted shortwave trough.
Ooh.
Absolutely gorgeous. This is the classic tornado outbreak trough.
That's not
this
good.
is what, and better yet, hold on, Weather Prediction Center. We're going to get even more evidence of this by the data. Look at our current 00Z Friday. Energy here, spin here, our main low is here. Now, what's going to happen is these are going to all combined. And then you get your cyclone genesis as Saturday begins. There you go, the evolution. And we're already starting to see it on satellites. So we're already seeing the signs that this is going to be a bad event.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. This is going to be a very, very, very long next couple of days having to go over this. I just hope
and I
do not
don't
lose
think this
power.
is the only.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think this is the only severe weather outbreak that I'm seeing in the next.
There's
little
three
bit.
more coming. Who knows?
You know, even in the long range, I know it's longer range, but I see big time severe weather events in the long term. But very weird to me. The GFS kind of holds on to winter a little bit too.
I'm seeing it too, but we'll
It's a
see
weird
how it pans
feeling
out.
on that.
We'll see how it pans out, though. I'm watching
Yes,
it too.
correct.
We'll see how
Because
it pans
Euro
out.
shows it too. Some nasty severe
On the
weather
GFS,
once again.
they really handed it to us when we needed them to, like 6-7 days in advance for this possible outbreak, and now everything's coming together. We'll see what happens, but that's more of a long-term threat, and I want to focus on what's going on right
I'm
now.
just saying.
I know. I'm watching it too, and it's something to watch, but that's more of a long-term project. But thank you, Weather Kingdom. What's up?
All I'm going to say about this is, and this is one of those times where you want, like, in a way, if you want data, if you want science, if you want to learn, this is a really good event to learn.
Yeah.
And test people's skills. On the other hand, I want this to fail because there's so many people that can be affected 100%. And injured. You're going to have so many 911 calls. People don't understand the chaos when it comes to, especially with Alabama, not only are you getting tornadoes, just gradient winds. from the surface cyclone moving north with the mesoscale low in Tennessee, you're already going to get 911 calls from falling trees and power lines and flooding.
Yeah.
And then you add tornadoes to that?
That's a problem.
911 call centers are going to be absolutely flooded the next 2 days.
That's
so
very
here's my
concerning.
suggestion. Unless it's an actual, this is common sense, but we need to emphasize this here.
Okay.
Please, if you are on the roads, something is happening, let first responders go in front of you.
Yes.
Let them move. Because in tornado situations, minutes can be life or death.
Absolutely.
Correct.
We're going to, for sure. Go ahead, Weather Kingdom.
Yeah. Tomorrow morning, I am definitely going to probably go live or make a massive update on this. I know I haven't posted in a little bit.
You have not been,
but
yeah.
I'm definitely going to, try tomorrow as I will have time.
That's
I do work later on though.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely going to try and come onto the stream, but I might be when do you think the epicenter of this whole outbreak tomorrow will be?
For tomorrow, I'm looking at it.
The time frame.
Let's look at the time frame for this. Convection's going to start blowing up according to these runs. I'd say initial convection blows up around 3 to 4 o'clock, 4 to 5 o'clock Eastern, but then the main event starts to develop around 5 to 6, which is 6 to 7 your time, and then
so it's like after sunset.
Yeah, and then this is actually, John, this is actually, for a lot of people, this is actually going to be a nighttime threat.
Yeah, this is more concerning too.
And
people
so
can't
what
even
do you
see
think
I
is
don't
gonna
think
be
we considered this whole stream. Tomorrow's event is going to be a nighttime event.
Yeah.
Let me look into that more.
And it's going to be rush hour too.
No. We're thinking by the time it starts moving through the St. Louis Metro, 9 to 10 o'clock at night.
Oh, that's bad. People are asleep.
People are gonna be in their pajamas. They're gonna be 9 to 10 o'clock, people are gonna start settling down. Then again, it is Friday night, so that's at least good because people are gonna be up watching TV. They'll be out doing stuff.
Wait, can you show the timing on
can you show
one
the
of the
timing,
models?
Pat, on
Hey,
and kind of
Hey Tristan, can I borrow the screen share for a bit?
Go ahead.
Thank you.
Because if it's gonna be nighttime, I might be good to stream after work.
All right. Yeah, well, it depends on when you get off work, man. But this is 4 o'clock. All these times are in Central Time, by the way. So sunny Weather Kingdom. I know you're in the Eastern Time Zone. So is Tristan, actually. 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock.
And when is 12 o'clock?
Am I crazy? I want to look at that mode again.
Would that be midnight?
It keeps growing bigger. It keeps growing bigger.
Play it again? How many comment? That's December 15th. Look how many comment features there are.
Let's calm down for a second about that.
What?
I am very concerned about it, because obviously I am going to be in the line of fire for this.
Yes.
And so is John.
But it looks so similar.
You better get prepared tonight.
It's so interesting.
Yeah,
Pat, you better get prepared tonight.
Go ahead, Sunday.
Okay, quick question from Z. Is the fail mode generally just possible over convection? I hate to say this, but there doesn't seem like there's much of a fail mode with this. And the way this is potentially going to quote unquote over convect, it's going to make things worse in the long run.
So this is going to be like 9 o'clock for me, right?
Yeah.
So by the time crap really gets started, we're thinking it's going to be between around 8 and 9 o'clock your time.
Okay, so that will be pretty. I'll probably get off around like 9.
All right.
Someone was asking. I don't know if we answered this question. What is the threat for Nashville on Saturday? It's kind of a little complicated. I would say I would equal tornadoes and flash flooding.
Yeah.
Because of mesoscale unknowns. But the Weather Prediction Center is saying there could be easily a moderate risk of flooding. And then the unknowns on how much that convection goes north. I would just say both tornadoes and flooding are your main threats. until we know more mesoscale details.
But yeah, that's what's going on for tomorrow. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start streaming at when should I stream? That's the thing. I can't stream too early because I got stuff to do. I'm probably gonna start streaming around 5 o'clock at night as this mode starts to really ramp up. And then as things escalate, it's gonna be moving over my area. And then after that, we'll see how it pans out.
Wow.
But what I need is I need you, Tristan, and I need Daniel on standby in case John and I lose power because we need someone to take control of the stream if that's the case.
Yes.
So we'll need because if my power goes out, the stream's gonna cut, and that's the end of it. And
also, I would like to know if anybody is available because something I might have to do something tomorrow evening. So just in case the power is cut, I want someone else good on standby just in case I'm not there at that moment.
Well, yeah, we can get some.
That doesn't mean I'm not going to be there.
Oh yeah, for sure. We can talk to some people about it. But yeah, I'm not going to start streaming till about 5 o'clock my time, 6 o'clock your guys' time. So yeah, that's my plan for right now in terms of streaming this. And considering we have a returning audience that loves to come back and watch us, we've been averaging like 60 concurrent viewers the last couple of hours, which is absolutely incredible for a severe weather event. So thank you very much for tuning in. But ultimately, yeah, that's the plan. I'm going to start streaming around 5 o'clock, and then we'll see how things evolve and how things go. And depending on how burnt out I am, and depending on other things, I'll probably cut the stream maybe around. I don't want to really do a 7-hour stream, but if I have to, I will. So for me though, midnight would be the cutoff because that's when the worst of it starts. When things start are past the point of dying down.
Yeah.
So that's the plan right now, unless something unexpected happens and I lose power or something like that. So that's what's going to happen.
So how is it looking for you with St. Louis?
I'm in the semi-discreet stuff. I'm in the semi-discreet stuff.
So are you even going to, be outside taking some photos if you can?
Yeah. By the way, there's going to be a chance where when storms start coming to my area, I'm gonna dip. I'm gonna go outside to my front or backyard and record it and all that stuff. So if you guys could, if you're here, like make sure everything's okay, things are going well, and I can have like someone stream on the Discord on this Discord stream right here, so we can get things going. So that way, when I come back, we're back in operation. But yeah, there's a good chance I'm gonna dip and I'm gonna get some stuff on video while this is happening. So there might be like a chance where if all goes well, I'm gone for a good 10-20 minutes. So
I'm gonna let you know if you ever get burned out and you have to leave and stuff is still going on. I know we might have to talk about this, but I've done 12-hour coverages and I'm a veteran.
Yep, you've done it for Daniel. You have.
Yeah, if we ever need me to just be that person again like I was my younger days, I'll gladly.
If you want to do that, that's your choice. No one's forcing you to do anything. I really appreciate it. You've done so much for the community. You've done so much for the channel for the last, especially in the last year. If you want to do that, your choice. But at the same time, I want more people that are available for tomorrow as well, so that way we have a rotation, and that's not just you covering everything or just Daniel covering everything. I'm hoping we get a good rotation of people on tomorrow, so that way we can get things going. So
I mean, I'll be here tomorrow.
All right, Red Tide.
Yeah, I'll be because I'm in Georgia, of course. So I'm in the line of fire for Saturday.
You're in the line of fire.
Yeah, believe. Like when you started talking about Atlanta, I'm like, oh, my area.
Okay, Georgia.
I just want to let you know, the main reason why I couldn't continue weather was mental health and technology issues.
Don't worry about it.
That we got,
don't worry.
Now that I got the weather site, if anybody doesn't have a radar, lucky for you, there is a really good site that kind of acts like Radar Omega and Radar Scope together. It's called WeatherWise. If anybody needs a radar here during coverages, WeatherWise is a very good radar site, which Mia provided me, so I thank her for that. And she's been helping me with the forecast for this event, so we've been both working together on this stuff. So
yeah, this is a very interesting storm, to say the least. I mean, I've not really seen anything like this in my area, of course, especially for like the southeast. I mean, I know there's been a lot of storms in the southeast who have been stronger than this, but of course, this one is interesting because, of course, this is a day 3 outlook, and we already have a moderate risk.
You don't see those every day.
We don't. Exactly. We don't. We don't
Hey,
see.
can you send that radar link to me if you can?
Like,
definitely
during like.
Okay,
of
we
course
got a quick.
I will.
Okay, we got a quick question right here.
Don't be surprised
Pat,
at how good it is.
Sorry.
There you go.
Hey Pat, is this looking like it's going to be worse towards like Farmington and Potosi on Friday? It looks like those areas are going to be more discreet, compared to areas further to the north. So yes, I would say in terms of at least the tornado threat and the hail threat, the wind threat's going to be less for you guys, but ultimately, the tornado threat and hail threat greatly increases. Thank you for the question. You guys go ahead and continue. I want to talk.
Yes. So I send the weather app on the link just in case anybody needs it. It is actually a very good app. I was shocked at how good this one is. So I know we're not doing a sponsorship, but thank you, WeatherWise.
We're not, bro. We're not at 100K subs yet. Although we need to. Let's try to get there by the end of the year.
I wish they would. I wish smaller channels would get sponsorship.
Oh wow,
it's good. It's good.
Wow.
Yes. So
even without it's
and you can draw on it like the other ones, so you can point stuff out.
Yeah.
Wait. This is actually awesome. Echo tops.
Good for streaming, that's for sure.
What are we talking about?
Oh, Tristan sent a link for a radar that he uses. It's actually pretty decent. It's actually pretty good.
I know about
Yep.
it. Right.
So anyway, yeah.
Sorry. Ooh.
Thank you for sharing that with us, Tristan. But
yeah, this is awesome.
So, and the best part is that all that data I got from the storms during Texas was all from this app. So
yeah. Okay, quick question. Does it look worse for East Tennessee? We'll have to wait and see. That's a bit more complicated. I'll keep you updated on that.
Mesoscale evolution.
Yeah, for sure. But anyway, all right. So now that I feel like we've covered a lot of bases tonight. Let's go ahead and kind of wrap this up in a nice little bow. So let's go ahead. Let's go ahead for those who are still here. First of all, we had really high turnout both on the stream and with callers here. So thank you for those who showed up, and thank you for those who were helped out. We really appreciate that. I want to go ahead and wrap this up since it's getting kind of late, and I think we covered pretty much everything we can until early in the morning. And I don't feel comfortable streaming till 1 o'clock in the morning. So, yeah. All right. So let's go ahead and wrap this up. Who wants to go first with the overall final thoughts and the general gist of how what they're thinking?
I'm gonna go last because we need to talk about multiple things.
All right, who'd like to go first?
I mean, I don't mind going first.
Go for it.
Pretty much what they have covered and everything. I think this is definitely going to be one of those massive severe weather outbreaks, but I think everybody here, threw out as much information to everyone tonight, and I think we all did a great job. We went over the timing, we went over pretty much everything we could have done, and it's not like we can just stop severe weather and push it all away. All we can do is inform and help as many people out there, because if I was in one of these outbreaks and I had to worry about this, yeah, I would love to run into this type of stream and just be like, okay, wow, this is awesome, very information, all of this stuff. So I mean, I think we've done an awesome job, and I think this is going to be a very successful next couple days, at least on our part of giving out the information. I mean, we all have our opinions. We're all giving, David too.
Yep,
There's a lot
David
of
came
people
on.
out there, and I really am very proud of what this has become. I think we really threw out to everyone as much as we could, and I think now it's all about waiting it out and hoping for the best, but at the same time, having our plan in place for worst case scenario, because this has a chance to, this still has a small chance to, bust, but the chances for an outbreak of tornadoes have continued to go up. And I think this could be one of the bigger tornado outbreaks that you could probably say, relate to other tornado outbreaks that we still remember to this day. So, remember, it takes that one tornado to change a neighborhood's life for decades to come. So, I feel like, we all have to, just be calm here, take our precautions, and be here for one another and give as much help to the community as we could, honestly. And, if you see anyone, let's say you get hit by a tornado and, you made it out, I mean, help your community, help as many as you can, because, it will pay off.
Absolutely.
And it's such a good deed to do that, because, it just feels like you lose everything when a massive tornado hits. And, that's when we see all the good in the world. So keep that up, and let's get through this all together.
Sure.
That's how let's do it like that. But that's all I have to say, honestly.
For sure. Hold on a second. Couple things. Number one, Max Velocity just put out something on Twitter about an hour and a half ago. John just sent this to me. Multiple tornadoes are possible in the Midwest tomorrow. I think we'll see a 15 hatch tornado risk added tomorrow morning. Eastern Missouri and Southern Illinois will likely have the most significant risk, and this is based off of the 0Z HER that came out from it.
This is something that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, we were talking about that. I know Tony and Brendan have their own opinions about that. We all have our own opinions about that. We'll see what happens, for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
But who would like to go? Also, another thing I wanted to point out. We were talking about Cape earlier, especially with what's going on. The HER has really uptrended in the Deep South. We're looking at up to 3,500 joules per kilogram of Cape in Mississippi.
I see.
Yeah. That's at 2:00 in the afternoon.
That's concerning right there.
For Saturday. That is a lot more instability.
People are committing atrocities.
So keep on going.
The trends just keep on coming. That is problematic. But
okay.
Yeah. All right. Who would like to go next with their final thoughts, or if they want to add some stuff?
Can you go further out in that model?
Yes, I can. And then it starts to weaken as diurnal heating starts. But by the next hours, we're looking at over 3,500 joules per kilogram in some areas in central Mississippi.
And in the Gulf of Mexico too.
Yeah, but that's not. But that's over the water, so I'm not that concerned about it. So yeah. But
one day later, the tornadoes in the Gulf descend the Macarena towards the Gulf Coast. Please.
Oh gosh. All right. So anyway, who would like to go next with their overall thoughts?
Would it be okay if I went?
Yeah,
second?
Sure. You haven't talked too much on here.
Yeah, I've been listening. You guys are doing a great job here.
We're glad you found us, man. Especially during Helene, right?
Yeah, certainly. But the one main basis I just want to bring up about this storm is how serious this is.
Yeah.
I mean, especially for Saturday. I mean, by us being in a day 3 and then already having a moderate risk is very rare. We don't see this a lot. So that just tells you how like powerful this storm is. And then for the basis of tomorrow, the one main thing I need to tell everybody in that region, especially in Illinois, especially in your region, Pat, and then really in that region, the Midwest, stay weather aware. Make sure that you're prepared for anything to happen, even if you're not in the most probable areas for this storm. Stay weather aware. We do not need to see another Nashville. We don't need to see any other like causes of deaths if you're not prepared. So that is something that everybody needs to have in mind, is to stay prepared. When you hear something, act immediately. Make sure you have a radar, make sure you have a radio, make sure you have everything that you need. If you search up online simple things for a storm for a prepare pack, have that.
Yeah.
Make sure you have everything you need. And then on the basis for Saturday, I mean, we're probably going to see this develop until tomorrow. We're probably going to get more in tomorrow about this, so I'll check it out, of course. But the one thing I was seeing is how much this has developed over the past 2 or 3 hours. I know since like 2 o'clock or 2 p.m. Eastern Standard, in the Mississippi region, I was seeing 2,000 joules per kilogram in that region. Now we're seeing 3,500. So, like, this is definitely developing with a lot more energy than we saw before. So that's definitely concerning in that area. There's a lot of instability in that area as well, just because there hasn't been a lot of big rainstorms or any big storms in that region. Especially in my area, there has not been a lot of rain. So that, of course, with dry air, really it's perfect conditions for this, and that's not good. So that is something that everyone needs to keep in mind when looking at these storms. Just how powerful these things are, and like somebody said, I don't know who it was, but it could easily just be one tornado. That's all it takes. I mean, that's all it is. That's all it takes. That's all. It's just one thing.
Yeah.
And then your whole life, I don't want to go into that many details, but the main basis that everybody needs to have is be prepared. That's the only thing you have. Just be prepared.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, man. It's good to see you back. It's good to see you back. It's good to see you back here on Storms United. It's good to see you on the live streams again.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. You're always welcome here, and if you want to come help us out more, you're more than welcome to. You're pretty knowledgeable with weather and especially real life stuff. So we'd like you on some more.
No worries.
For sure. Anyway, would anyone like to go next? Tristan went. Red Tie went. Who? No, Tristan didn't go. Weather Kingdom did. Then Red Tie did. Who would like to go next?
I'm waiting for everyone to get their thoughts up before I go.
All right, Yoshi,
I
Sean,
have stuff to show on screen.
Yes, Yoshi, Sonny, John. What are your thoughts? Go ahead.
Very worrying.
Yeah.
HRR02Z has uptrended on late morning instability, apparently. So that's fun.
That's a problem.
Yeah, at 11 a.m., I think it's 11 a.m., that instability, specifically in Louisiana near Shreveport, has gone up a ton from, let me get it here, around 500 to 630 joules a kilogram.
That's an increase right there.
And I'm worried about the Texas thing because I have seen the dew points there slowly go down throughout the stream. It went from one place from 2021 to 19 or 18. So, yeah, I'm very worried, and I do think these uptrends could very well continue. To a high risk, I want to be very... I don't want to be very light on saying there's a high risk. So I'm not going to say there's going to be a high risk yet. I want to be really, really careful on what I say. And I bet everyone else wants to be very careful on what they say too. So I'm not going to say a high just yet because there's still a ton of people that are saying that high risk shouldn't happen yet. Okay. And there's still a couple fail safes.
Yep.
That's the word. Couple fail modes that could still happen. And so, but that doesn't discredit what we have seen throughout the models. And I do think this is going to be a very, very dangerous situation with long tracking, dangerous tornadoes, severe hail, and very strong hurricane force winds. So just be prepared, please.
We absolutely will. Would you like to add anything else, or are you good?
I'm good. I'm gonna wait until the another part of his scream to go on Florida.
Sure.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah. I'm just playing out the cape and how it's evolving while you guys are talking. I'm just looking at parameters while you're doing that. So, yeah, don't mind me. All right, John, Sonny, who wants to go first?
Well, what I'll say is this is going to be a long next couple of days. So,
Yeah.
I mean, all I'll say is please have multiple ways to receive weather warnings. Obviously, whether that's a NOAA weather radio, your cell phone. And I would like to add, don't rely solely on tornado sirens.
Yeah.
They're for outdoor purposes only. So, yeah. Tomorrow is going to be a interesting one. It gives me goosebumps myself being in the center of the moderate risk. And Saturday, another day gives me goosebumps as well with potential major tornado outbreak.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. That's concerning. Anything else?
Oh yes.
All right.
Oh yes. Speaking about tornadoes, I'm more worried about the flooding and around the big cities too.
Oh
Because you
yeah.
got lots of people around the big cities that like, drive on the highways and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm more worried about the flooding in Tennessee because they got mountains in there too.
Yeah, that MCS, if it does develop, could be a problem. For sure. But please continue.
And there's more problems with flooding than tornadoes because more people drown in flood waters than tornadoes. People dying. Just you remember that flooding in Kentucky last year?
Yeah.
For that big thunderstorm that they had.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they should get prepared for that again. So they don't repeat that people losing their lives again.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Do you have anything else, or?
I'm good.
All right, Tristan, go for it.
I'll like to share my screen if I can.
Yeah, let's go ahead.
For this here. This is gonna be a little long, but it's important. First off, I just want to note that there's already a 68 dew point touching the Gulf Coast.
Oh no.
Oh.
Yeah,
Wait,
so
what
that
happened?
is the first thing I want to mention. Secondly, I like doing this to help people out. Let's get some of this stuff going. So we're going to do a little bit. We always do this with. So this can go for severe thunderstorm warnings too, especially the next 2 days here. So the tornado warning and the severe thunderstorm warning, depending on the rank of it, should be treated the same. A tornado watch means is issued when tornadoes are possible. You need to know a safe place, including a storm shelter, basement, interior wall away from windows, and you need to be ready to act quickly if a warning is issued. And if a tornado warning happens, you need to seek shelter immediately. What is that seeking shelter? It's a little bit blurry. I'm sorry, that's how the image goes, but I can read it here. Helmets, pillows, or even a mattress to cover your head from falling and flying debris. Shoes to protect your feet from broken glass and other sharp objects of tornado debris. Hard sole shoes are really good. A whistle or noise making device to signal for help after the storm passes. This is really important. I know James Spann has talked about this on live. Cheap whistles. If you're not able to move, if you're injured and stuff, you can blow the whistle hopefully, and you will be able to get more attention. And of course, anything for children, any documents, insurance, money you need, just in case something does happen. And with tornadoes and flash flooding, there is one similarity. You don't want to be in a car. A large percentage of tornado and flooding deaths are in mobile homes or cars. You got to do the right thing, and plan what you need to do weekday or weekend. And this is one of those big time events where hopefully you have your plan in place. If not, you still got in the Southeast United States at least until Friday night to understand where to go, what your plan and action is, and how to get ready for this event. NOAA weather radios are pretty cheap. They are very reliable. They will wake you up at night if you ever need to be woken up at night. And I just want to say here that severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings tomorrow, especially tomorrow, shall be treated equally and respectfully the same, because a weak tornado and damaging wind gusts to 80 to 100 is not that different in potential damage. So that is all I have to say here. One more thing real quick, and I want to mention this. Please turn around, don't drown. In fact, if you don't have to drive on Saturday, just don't drive. Honestly, it's not worth it unless you got to get to that safe place.
All right. Thank you very much, Tristan. I'll go ahead and wrap this up and say my words right here. We've had a lot to talk about tonight. Stream is now almost 3.5 hours long. That's how much information we had for you guys. First of all, I want to say thank you for coming on to the stream tonight. Not just the people tuning in at home, but also the callers, everyone who contributed, all of that, all the people behind the scenes at Storms United to give us this content. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for sticking it out for this long. It's always appreciated all over the place. What I will say about this severe risk, I'm going to take my hat off. I apologize for the hair if it looks a little bit messy. But what I will say about the severe weather risk is, like Brendan said, tomorrow is going to be the appetizer and Saturday is going to be the main course. Except this main course isn't going to be your regular main course. You're looking at a full-blown type of severe weather event. And what I will start with is, for those of you tuning in from the St. Louis area, like myself, who are worried about this, what I will say is remain calm, be prepared for the worst, pray for the best. I'll keep you guys updated here on the Pat's Path Predictor channel and in other areas like Instagram, Twitter, Discord, those areas as well, especially as the day goes on and as we get more updates from the Storm Prediction Center. So what I will say is we've had a rapid escalation of events over the last 24 hours. We were not expecting a day 2 moderate. You guys can attest to this in the call, right? We were all like, oh, it's going to stay enhanced.
I was expecting.
Yeah.
I'm the only one who mentioned it, I think.
Yeah, a lot of us did not expect this to happen. And yet the SPC saw some parameters that happened, and it looks like, according to 0-0 runs, they have not only doubled down, they have only uptrended. So,
and I'm afraid that could continue.
Yeah, especially
or maybe we get some good luck.
Yeah, especially as we go into Saturday as well.
It could bust. You never know.
I hope it does at this current point. Sure, I may get some flack for how I market my videos for it, but as long as people are safe, that's all I care about. And
exactly.
Amen.
Yeah, for sure. But by and large, what I will tell you is be prepared. Don't be scared. Remember what Tristan just showed you with the tornado hazards and all the other hazards he showed. Be prepared for anything. What's up?
Speaking about state emergencies, they could issue a state emergency as well.
They likely will in the Deep South, to be honest.
Yeah.
But we don't know yet. As for Saturday, that is looking like it's going to be a full-blown tornado outbreak. Now, there's a lot of terms that have been thrown out there, both on a camera and behind the scenes, and all of that stuff about this being compared to some other big outbreak that happened before. Every outbreak is different, but the parameters I am looking at have not been this good since at least March 31st of 2023 in terms of the conditions. I don't say this to scare anyone. I say this to say, okay, look, we're looking at this case. We need to take this very seriously because I have not seen soundings like this in quite a while.
Since
And
December 10th, at least,
since
as
at
far
least
as
December
I
10th.
remember.
Yeah, since at least December 10th, but also March 31st as well. But
Yes.
ultimately, if you're tuning in from day 3, moderate risk, pay very close attention to it. In terms of if this is going to go into a high risk or not, I know some have
Does
said
not
it
matter.
will. Some say are waiting for further evidence. I think I'm personally I'm thinking Brendan may be on the right track with this potentially going day 2 high, but at the same time it may be not because they may want to wait for more data and information. But the information they have provided tonight is very concerning. And what it shows is a couple of rounds of very powerful supercells moving through the deep south. Be prepared for that scenario, and we'll continue to update you here on the Pat's Path Predictor channel on that regard. But the last thing I want to say is, thank you everybody for coming on tonight and watching the stream. We really appreciate all the support this channel has given us, all the support you guys have given us. Typically, I don't make severe weather content as much as I used to, but because of you guys, your guys' support and the love you've given us, I have come back to that, and it's helped me really improve the way I make my videos and my streams as well.
Yes.
And I want to thank you all for coming on and giving us that support. I know, I know 70 people at the peak may not seem like a lot, especially compared to tropical weather and winter weather as well on Pat's Path Predictor. But if one person hears this message, that's all I care about. And I want to say thank you to everyone that came on, everyone that liked, everyone that subscribed, everyone that sent super chats in. It means the world to me. And without you guys, I would not be where I'm at right now with how I'm doing things with my channel and other periods of my career. And I'm really happy that you guys are here for that journey. But with that being said, I'm closing it out right here. Like I said, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Shout out to Daniel as an official sponsor of the Pat's Path Predictor channel. If you want to support the channel more directly, we have memberships. We also have our Patreon. It's the first link in the description down below. So if you'd like to check those out, be my guest. We'd really like to do that. I'm going to start doing some members-only content pretty soon, considering we got gifted 10 of those last night on stream. So, yeah, I need to start doing that, actually hold myself accountable to that. But yeah, I'm gonna wait for this whole severe weather business to get through, and then I'll get some stuff cooking for you guys. So,
and remember, guys, if you like that we cover a little bit of everything, make sure to subscribe to the channel.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes, I
subscribe.
agree.
Yeah, but anyway, be sure to check those out. Also, come join the Storms United Discord server if you have any questions with us.
Yes.
We have here's the invite link to that. I'm gonna post it in chat. Replace that as the pin chat right here. If you guys want to come join the Storms United Discord server, be sure to join. We'd be happy for you guys to be here. And if you guys want to help us out, be our guest, we'd be more than thrilled to have you guys do that. We always to have more people come on the stream and give us analysis. We had a lot of people on tonight, and I would say, given the circumstances, went really smoothly. So to those who were calling, thank you very much for coming out tonight. It was a lot of fun. So yeah, with that being said, though, I'm gonna close out the stream right now. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for those who called in. I really appreciate it. It means the world to me, and it means the world to Storms United. But with that being said, have a wonderful night, guys. Stay safe.